lineup to get more left-handed power in there to go for that right field wall.
Here's the philosophy tonight. If you're a left-handed hitter, you've got to crowd the plate and make them throw it to you, because if you get the ball up in the air to right field, you've got a great chance for a home run.
Vaught downstairs with the first offering. And we are at 79 degrees. It's been beautiful, except for the wind. It would be perfect, but the wind 20 miles an hour. Now blowing to right. It'll shift back and forth, sometimes to dead center, sometimes to right.
Mike, don't be surprised if even right-handed hitters tonight who hit the ball the other way, a lot of times you get good backspin that way, will drive the ball to right field tonight.
We have had several left-handed hitters go to left field with the wind blowing that way so far in the series, with excellent results for them.
A non-discriminating wind field.
Rivera out of Santiago, Puerto Rico. One of the three amigos and players that Gary Ward really likes. I think the most illustrative comment he made is they love baseball so much in Puerto Rico, almost like the United States proper in the 50s. So the grandmothers still go out and roll baseballs to the kids so they can pick them up, and he just loves their attitude and their love of the game. High and tight, 3-1 to Ernesto Rivera. And Jay Vaught got that one up there at 90 miles an hour.
He comes at you sidearm. He throws across his body, which makes it very difficult for right-handed hitters. He'll sink the ball. He'll slide it. He'll straight change.
Strike call, 3-2.
And he'll come right down Powder River. Let's take a look at the motion of Jay Vaught. From the side, high leg kick, great stride, just rears back and fires.
And he lost him, so Rivera will lead it off with a base on balls, his second drawn in the College World Series. Vaught about a 2-to-1 ratio for strikes to walks during the regular season.
Mike, what you want is you want at least 3-to-1. So 2-to-1 is fine, but not as good as what your head coach or pitching coach would like.
Roberto Lopez from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. 283 hitter. He's had only one base hit in the College World Series, though, so far, 1 out of 8. And Vaught, as a kid, they're really counting on in the postseason. As a freshman and sophomore, he had excellent postseason stuff, but he's never put a good regular season together. Not the kind of numbers he has thrown up in the playoffs.
Well, that happens from time to time, especially at this level. A young man will, over the course of a season, really try to find himself, but when the adrenaline starts to flow, he focuses in, zeroes in, and really becomes a much better player.
Tried to check his swing, but it's in there. 0-2. Rivera down at first with 14 stolen bases in 16 tries this year. Those aren't great numbers, but he's been very selective on his steals. The 0-2 missed the outside corner.
One thing we've noted early in this game is that Jay Vaught stands on the right side of the rubber. Now, he does this because he wants to throw across his body and make the ball move more, make it sink. He will be as successful as the strike zone of the umpire tonight. If the umpire calls the low strike, Jay Vaught could be very, very successful this evening.
1-2. Struck him out. Lopez, the hardest man to strike out in the Oklahoma State lineup, couldn't get through on that one.
Right from home plate, Jay Vaught, high leg kick. Really just comes right at you. He's squared up well to home plate. Good pitching mechanics.
Vaught, as we pointed out earlier, the number 3 starter on this club. Texas just hoping to win this game and get back to Kieschnick.
That's the rallying cry.
This is Sean Hugo, a .345 hitter on the season. A little high.
I like Sean Hugo. He goes up to the plate and he'll take that outside pitch and hit it the other way. And then with a good short stride, he'll use his hands and hook it to right field. And tonight he's thinking, I got to force this pitcher to really throw me in.
Economic major. That's pretty good for a baseball player these days.
Know how to manage his money if he hits for average and power.
Brooks Kieschnick looking on. He'll be the DH. As we pointed out earlier in the series, he has hit much better as a pitcher than as a DH. Outside runner goes, and they got him. And that looked like a delayed steal, and Rivera is gunned down.
That was a delayed steal, and Gary Ward really is going to do everything tonight he can to win this game. He wants to do it early. He wants to get the momentum. And on that delayed steal, a great throw by that man, Joel Williamson, got Rivera easily. Easy off, easy go. He's trying to surprise the catcher, but he doesn't do it. Nice tag by Heinrich.
Williamson put the ball right on the bag. 2 gone, 2-0 to Sean Hugo. Most consistent hitter that Gary Ward may have on this ball club. Also has some power with 12 home runs and 51 RBIs. Strike called, and as you see, all the Oklahoma State hitters are going to try to take the pitcher as deep into the count as they can. They'd love to get it to 3-2 and foul off 4 or 5.
This we can just about guarantee. The hitters will take a strike, especially the first time around.
And Hugo just took his second one, 2-2.
Well, he took a short stride, not like he was taking that time. I think he was fooled. That's a little bit of the straight change that we talked about from Jay Vaught.
Struck him out. So Jay Vaught fans a pair in the opening inning, and through a half inning of play, we have no score at the College World Series. Texas is now 51-15 going into this elimination game. Coach Cliff Gustafson in his 17th College World Series. Jeff Conway gets the start in center. The sophomore will lead it off today. Steve Heinrich, a walk-on, hits second and plays second base. Brooks Kieschnick will DH. He's hit 19 homers this year. Braxton Hickman, the cleanup hitter and the first baseman. Hitting fifth and playing right field, sophomore Jerry Taylor, the hitting star so far. Another sophomore, Stephen Larkin, starts in left and bats sixth. The catcher is Joel Williamson, the number 7 hitter. He's a senior. Junior Tim Harkrider will hit 8th and play shortstop. And batting ninth, junior third baseman Marcus Hendry.
And pitching for the Cowboys, Earl Wheeler. 6-1, 4.12 earned run average. Sinker slider, must keep the ball down also. Catching Carl Grinstead. Young, inexperienced, he must have a big game. At first base, Hunter Triplett, tall, rangy, and solid defensively. At second base, the impact player with great range, Roberto Lopez. Playing shortstop, Fred Ocasio, solid, the anchor of the infield. Ernesto Rivera with a great arm and great range will play third base. In left field, Stan Hugo, excellent athlete, the complete player. In center field, Peter Prodanov, great speed, great range, big game player also. In right field, Thad Chadrick, great potential with a great arm.
Go to the bottom of the first for the Longhorns of Texas, and the sun will be a factor until about the 4th or 5th inning tonight, and it is a wicked sun field, and the right fielder ought to see a lot more action with the wind blowing out there tonight. Jeff Conway, who did not play in the regular batting order in the first couple of games, will get a start tonight. Only a .244 hitter. This is his 22nd start in center field. Separated his left shoulder in the first game of the regionals, and almost separated his right knee on that one.
That's number 15 for Conway. He's been hit 15 times this year in not that many at-bats. Here's a young man who likes to take that pitch inside. He's fearless. Watch this. Ball low. Ow! Hits him in the upper calf. He says, thank you very much. I'll take first base and get this rally going.
Not a great start for Earl Wheeler. And that'll bring up Steve Heinrich. Breaking ball hangs inside. Conway down at first, 3 out of 5 in stolen bases. Heinrich, a hitting star in the series so far, 4 out of 9, hitting .444 in the World Series. Wheeler, another big kid, 6'2", 210.
Mike, as we talked about in our opening, I'm concerned about Texas. A tough loss last night. If they would have won last night, they would have been in the driver's seat in this College World Series. Now they're up against an old nemesis in Oklahoma State, and they've got to come out and be aggressive. You just have to factor in how much deflation in their egos came last night after a 6-1 lead vanished to a 7-6 loss.
Breaking ball is in there for a strike. And Steve, I think you're absolutely right. The psychology of this game goes so far beyond the talent level of the two teams. I mean, after all, we're dealing with 18 to 21-year-old kids, and they can get that adrenaline going really quickly, and it can leave in a hurry too. Pitch out. Conway not doing anything.
For our viewers, last night was a winner's round. Not too much anxiety. They had a game to play with. Now we're back to the losers bracket, and they just can't afford to make any defensive mistakes, which has plagued all the losing teams so far in this College World Series. And Texas A&M was a prime example today.
Especially with the number 3 man as a starting pitcher. He needs good defense behind him.
Especially when you're a sinker slider pitcher. You're going to get ground balls.
Runner goes outside and into the dirt, and Grinstead can't find it, and Conway is into second easily. Picked a great pitch to steal on down in the dirt, and Grinstead never had a chance.
We talked about Grinstead being young and inexperienced. He'll got a lot of experience today. The question is, can he handle the pressure of this game? And that man right there feels he can. But we'll take a look. He's got to really shift over. You can't backhand that ball. You've got to shift over and get in front of it. So his mechanic's still a young, inexperienced.
And he lost him. Texas over Oklahoma State 6-5. The last meeting when Kieschnick raised his record to 16-3 and threw a career high 172 pitches.
But he's not on the mound tonight. He's a DH. And your point before was well founded. He doesn't hit as well when he's a DH. He needs that adrenaline flowing from going out to that mound every inning. Being a DH in college baseball, you really have to get up, stay moving around, keep your mind into the game. And that's a little bit tougher for this young man, who's one of the great college players of all time.
As good as his average is, it's 15 points higher when he pitches.
If I'm Wheeler tonight, I'm real concerned about pitching to Kieschnick. I don't want to look at that flag. I don't want to feel that wind going by my face towards right field. All I want to concentrate is on that mitt that's setting up on the outside half of the plate.
This one's hit to left. Hugo coming in as the wind knocks it down. So Wheeler against Kieschnick with runners at first and second gets him to fly out to left.
See, that's the difference a day makes. The other night, Todd Walker hits a ball like that, and it goes for a grand slam home run. But today the wind shifts. The wind knocks that ball down, and Kieschnick gets just a little F7 to left field.
First baseman Braxton Hickman stands in. A unanimous first-team Southwest Conference pick in all 5 polls that they have for that team in Texas. Leads the team in hits and average at .390. Takes a call strike from Earl Wheeler, the senior from Dexter, Missouri.
Hickman's a good-looking young hitter. I like the way he stands at the plate. A little more erect than most hitters. He keeps his hands up and then brings them back as the pitcher releases the ball, and then takes a short stride towards the ball.
Just missed with a breaking ball outside. 1-1. 1 gone, 2 men on. Heinrich down at second, or excuse me, Conway down at second and Heinrich at first. Wheeler looks like a football player and was quarterback at Oklahoma State. In fact, holds the record for the longest pass completion for a touchdown ever, 85 yards 2 years ago.
It's a pretty good toss.
Not bad. But the coaches told us this morning his heart always seemed to be with this game. And this one will get in your blood.
And never leave.
2-1 to Hickman. I was just thinking earlier, just watching infield practice, I really couldn't take my eyes off of it. Just watching it for about 20 minutes and saying, you know, I got to really be hooked on this stuff.
It's mesmerizing. And even for those of us who played the game all of our lives or commented on it or played it just a little bit from time to time, it truly is the national pastime, regardless of what the other sports say. This one is truly in our blood.
Check swing, fouled off the left side, and you got to look at Jerry Taylor, the on-deck hitter, who has been the star of this series so far. 4 out of 7, a couple of home runs. Somebody always stands tall in a series like this, and often it's not the guy you would think it would be.
It's often not the guy that has the most height either.
No. Taylor 5'10", 192. He's a sophomore. He'll be back a year from now in this program. Full count to Braxton Hickman.
Hitters count right now. First real pitcher against hitter situation of this game. This will be interesting to see what Wheeler feels his best pitch is at this point, at this early stage of the game. Facing a good fastball hitter. Sets up inside.
Too high. The runners were going. Hickman doesn't strike out very much, only 22 for the year. So Cliff Gustafson being very aggressive here in the bottom of the first, taking a chance on running himself out of a rally. But now he has exactly what he wants with his hottest hitter, Jerry Taylor, 571 in the series, coming up with the sacks loaded. His 290 average for the year, but he is hot now.
This man's the right man at the right spot for Texas. Catcher sets up outside. See, Wheeler's having trouble throwing to the mitt. Obviously, he's walked 2 guys and hit 1 batter so far. This is a big problem for the Cowboys in this early stage of the game because Vaught's throwing well for Texas.
Base hit here for Taylor. He would take over the RBI lead in the entire series.
Good concentration by Taylor.
The infield back hoping for the double play. The third baseman Rivera in even with the bag at third.
Now yesterday in a situation like this with bases loaded, Taylor was taking a strike. One right down the middle, then he took another, got behind, then popped one up. Was very frustrated.
1-1.
And don't think he doesn't remember yesterday. And that cut right there was an example of yesterday's frustration.
Going to get his swings today, isn't he?
He's going to get 3 good swings if he goes that far. Anytime you move your neck around that many times, you know you're in trouble.
Breaking ball low, 2-1.
If I'm Oklahoma State, I'm going to work Jerry Taylor outside with sliders and curves and then try to really pound it on the inside to him. I'd mix my speeds up a little more than Wheeler's done so far too.
3-1. And now Grinstead wants to go out to talk to senior Earl Wheeler, who's 1.5 foot high with an 88-mile-an-hour fastball.
I'd rather have him at 86 and be 2 feet lower because he had some movement on that.
Gary Ward has to be thinking to himself he might see this game get away early, although he expects to score some runs tonight, and we have had some of the most dramatic comebacks ever in the College World Series. So even if you're down 4 or 5, what the heck? Beautiful sight, isn't it? Great ballpark here. 3-1 to Taylor. Popped up to shallow left. shortstop Ocasio on the grass. Nobody can advance on that one, and there's 2 gone. Nice job of pitching by Earl Wheeler.
Jerry Taylor not doing a good mental job of hitting because he's got to try to get that first run in somehow. And to do that, he's got to think up the middle and the other way instead of hitting that grand slam home run. And that's why he hit it on the end. He tried to pull that ball.
Thompson, Graham, LaRue, and Jenkins, the umpiring crew. Tony Thompson out of Snellville, Georgia, in his 16th year umpiring college baseball behind the plate. And this is Stephen Larkin, prime time with the bases loaded. Nice breaking ball in there for a strike.
Like this half inning could set the tone for the rest of the game for Texas. If they score here, it could give them excellent momentum. If they don't, they'll start thinking about last night, not getting the breaks. They'll start thinking negatively. They're going to have to overcome that.
Swing and a miss. I think you're right, Steve. It would just reinforce the disappointment of last night. Down at third is Conway. Steve Heinrich at second base, and over at first, Braxton Hickman. With 2 gone, bottom of the first, no score. Wheeler trying to work out of a big jam.
And he can't afford to get the ball over the plate with no balls and 2 strikes against Larkin. He's too good a hitter. He lives for these situations. He's a much better hitter with guys in scoring position than he is leading off innings.
Larkin has already had 3 hits and 2 RBIs in the series.
Catcher sets up inside.
Got him on a breaking ball.
Great pitch.
So Wheeler loads the bases and then gets out of it with this strikeout. No score, end of 1. Oklahoma State and Texas, 0-0, top of the second inning. When these teams met before, Brooks Kieschnick hung a slider to Peter Prodenoff, and you'll see the result. He just creamed it down the left field line for a home run. Got all of that one. And as he came around, he was staring at his masterpiece, and watch Kieschnick. Supposedly, he said, don't look at it anymore. And supposedly, Prodenoff said, don't hang it anymore.
That's a typical pitcher-batter confrontation, a verbal confrontation. I've had those before. Especially when I've been knocked down.
Kieschnick, a rather intense, combative guy. You'd like to have about 15 of those and go to war with him.
All those big titles come to mind. Bulldog, linebacker on the mound, overachiever, all those things apply to him. I'll tell you who one of his big fans is, and that's Gary Ward of Oklahoma State. He just wonders how he got by, how he didn't recruit him, how he slipped away.
He also wondered why he wasn't signed to a major league contract out of high school, the way he can hit a baseball 1 and 2.
He was mad about that. He was mad at the major league teams for not drafting him and signing him out of high school. Now he's got to face him.
He said, how can a scout miss the sound of the way he hits a baseball? The 1 and 2 chopped to short. Hartrider throws him out, 1 gone.
Mike, what we're going to do in a couple of the next games is with our award-winning production crew, we're going to take a wooden bat and an aluminum bat. We're going to give you the sounds of the two. And you'll see the difference between that sweet crack of white ash and aluminum. And we talked about baseball, how it's in your blood and in your heart. It's also audio. And that's what people love about the game, that crack of a wooden bat.
Familiar name here, Sal Bando Jr., 327, from a Milwaukee suburb.
One of those around there.
Yeah. M-E-Q-U-O-N. I won't even try it.
Must be an Indian suburb. See some of his dad's features in that handsome young man. His dad was a great competitor. I always used to play against him. He was a real leader on the field. He was a pro's pro.
Bando holds those hands very high. 3-0 from Jay Vaught. He carried this team earlier in the year. Hit very, very well. His production dropped off a little bit since then. They got him from Colorado State when they dropped baseball from their intercollegiate athletic program. And you see the home run production really dropped off. Walked him on 4 pitches.
Back to the walks again. Seems like the thing to do to start off innings.
Hunter Triplett from Houston, Texas, playing first base. Spent most of the year hitting under 200. He's been hot the second half of the year. He's hot in the College World Series. 3 out of 5 hitting a crisp 600.
Remember now, we're still the first time around for the Oklahoma State lineup, so they're gonna take a strike. They're gonna make Vaught throw some pitches. They know he's not the Longhorn ace. They want him to work.
So far, Vaught has burned him, getting ahead in the count on most of the batters. He's lost a couple.
See, Gary Ward wants to beat you in innings 5, 6, and 7. That's where he wants to make the difference in there. Players are settled defensively and offensively.
Inside pitch is skied to left. Larkin make the grab. 2 gone. Show you how Gary Ward's Cowboys did this year. 16-8 in the Big 8 Conference and a record 13th straight championship there. 1,600 all-time victories for the program and the first College World Series trip in 3 years. Won the conference title from 81 through 93. And you had a great stat the other night. In 24 years, his team has averaged a run an inning.
The system works.
Strike call to Thad Chadwick.
It works at the college level. You wouldn't see that work at the major league level because there are too many talented players who want to go up there and hit, and that's how they make their money. But when you're in college, at the college level, and you want to play for Oklahoma State, this is how you'll play. You take a strike.
Outside. I think there's too many good pitchers up there, too. You spot those guys 1 strike all the time, and that's too big a hole to crawl out of sometimes.
You know, we just noted something. A couple of the players use bats that are white. Now, that could make it very difficult to pick the ball off the bat. And I know in the major leagues, you could never use a white bat like that.
Hit off the left side, foul out of play. It's a good point.
Major league bats, wooden bats have to be regular white ash or dark colors. They could be black, chocolate brown, but you can't have a white bat. Very difficult to pick the ball up off a white bat.
Especially for an infielder. Line drive, first baseman comes to mind.
Oh, holding a guy on AstroTurf after it's just rained. You might as well put the goalie equipment on.
Fouled away again. You think about these things about 3 o'clock in the morning, right?
I still twitch every now and then. I'll be laying in bed and that one leg and arm will kick right out, and Candace will say, "Are you okay?" Sorry, dear, I just had a lapse for a second.
Little flashback.
That's right. Yeah. I thought McCovey was up with 2 balls and no strikes. See, that's why the shorter first baseman came into vogue, because you couldn't hit him as easy. The big guys, you know, once AstroTurf came in, you could get a piece of them. They couldn't get those long arms and legs out of the way. But Pete Rose and myself, Tommy Hutton was a great first baseman, about 5'10", 5'11".
1-2 to Thad Chadwick, runner at first. 2 gone here in the Cowboys' second. Fouled out of play again. So far, neither one of these pitchers, Jay Vaught or Earl Wheeler, looks like a number 3 starter on the staff. They both pitched well.
They stepped on
velocity, some movement.
They've stepped on the mound tonight, and although Wheeler was a little wild, he settled down and struck out Larkin on a real tough slider. And now this man is being very effective with tailing fastballs, especially the balls up. Very tough to get on top of it.
Got him after a low fastball, struck him out. So Jay Vaught has fanned 3 through 1.5, and we're scoreless. 0-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning here at the College World Series, and we invite you to be with us on Thursday night. The Shockers of Wichita State await the winner of this game, and they'll get it going Thursday night at 7:30. Gene Stevenson's Shockers undefeated. They've been the comeback story here in Omaha, and we expect another great one this Thursday only on ESPN. 7:30 Eastern is our start time. We hope you'll be with us. Steve and I and Larry Conley will be here to bring you that action. And sometimes you get lucky with your picks. I think several of us liked LSU and Wichita State from the first time we saw them, and they are the only two undefeated teams left. I particularly like Wichita State because of the pitching. You get 5 innings out of a starter with those two guys in the bullpen, and you can mail it in from there.
And I liked LSU when I saw them in batting practice. It was their attitude. They were focused. The ball was jumping off their bats. A lot of good closed stances, hit the ball the other way. Well-disciplined team.
And their pitching is now beautifully set up, being 2-0.
Soroka threw a game that I remember Lamar Hoyt throwing when I was with the Padres. About a 2-hour and 5-inning game, and he was just a surgeon. You know, he just carved up the batters. Slider away, changeup up, fastball away, curve inside. I mean, Soroka was a master of deception the other night.
Joel Williamson, who's had a fine College World Series so far, 3 out of 7 on a home run. Hit 308 in the regional too. He's played well.
Played a great game last night. I think he's on the quintessential role, so to speak, starting with the regionals and right here to Omaha. He's been on the pitches. I'm surprised he missed that one. That's a pitch he hit for a home run last night.
Got a chance to play because of his defense, and now has become a much better hitter. 2-2. Breaking pitch fouled off again. It's a good pitch to hit too.
He knows he's missed 2 pitches now. It all goes back to last night. Hey, we can lose this game. We're back to tomorrow, but tonight a little tougher, a little more pressure on the guys tonight. Who will respond?
Wind helping this one back out of play. There's a great crowd, isn't it? We'll get the official attendance figure later, but I'll guarantee you it's over 20,000. They've got some goodies.
Nachos.
Some of that up here, huh?
Where are we? UCLA or Long Beach State? And they're enjoying those tonight. Great city, Omaha. Great people. We've had a ball here this last week.
Let's not forget the guys in the booth. And that one hit him. Williamson just turned the shoulder into it.
He said he didn't move. I threw him a curveball. He didn't move. That guy's either tough or he lost it, one or the other.
He's a catcher. He's tough.
Look at this. He goes, take this ball.
Actually got the little lean in at the end.
A little lean here. I'm going to get a piece of this. Yeah. Okay. Come on.
And the catcher, Carl Grinstead, is telling home plate umpire Tony Thompson exactly that. He was actually replaying it for him. He says, look, he leaned in here, dipped the shoulder into it.
There's a couple umpires here who would have called that.
Yeah.
Who would have kept him up at the plate right now and said, nope, you didn't make an attempt to get out of the way.
We had one earlier in the series. This is Harkrider, a .296 hitter. Williamson, the catcher, at first with 1 stolen base. Not much of a threat to go unless they play hit and run with Harkrider.
Who will break the ice? One team will be home tomorrow. The other one will go on.
2-0. Well, it's just hard to imagine the pressure for these kids. I mean, they're 18, 19, 20 years old. They're here playing for everything, and it's such a double elimination series. That's a lot of pressure. And now it's down to single elimination. Strike call. Good breaking ball from Wheeler on a 2-0 count.
And every game's the biggest game of their career to this point. And that man, Gustafson, has been through a lot of them. 1,300 wins. Ryder sits back. Really sits on that back leg. He really shifts forward when he hits. He wants to stay back.
He's a better hitter left-handed as a switch hitter.
Catcher sets up inside.
Hit very high, and the wind, taking it to deep right center. It's gone.
We told you if you're a left-handed hitter tonight, you got to make the pitcher throw you inside and try to pull that ball. We just talked about Harkrider sitting on that back leg. You do that because you want to take a short stride and you want to have quick hands and you want to pull the ball. He got his pitch. He didn't miss it. It's 2-0 Texas over Oklahoma State.
For Tim Harkrider, only his 4th home run of the season.
Let's look at the fastball right down the middle, thigh high. And I thought that at the minute he hit it, the way he hit it with good backspin, it was going to be gone, and it just kept carrying.
Marcus Henry, the third baseman, comes up, takes a breaking ball in there, so it is 2-0 Longhorns, bottom of the 2nd. And Kieschnick is already over there salivating, I'll guarantee you. He may get down and throw some to get ready for Thursday. Up and in.
Gary Ward doesn't mind home runs as long as they're solo home runs. That was compounded by a hit batsman, and that's been Wheeler's problem. A couple of walks the first inning, hit batsman then.
Breaking pitch fouled away. That'll reach the seats. And you can bet the Oklahoma State bench is giving it to home plate umpire Tony Thompson on that hit batsman. That made it 2-0 instead of 1-0. The dimensions of Rosenblatt symmetrical. 332 down the lines, 360 to the power alleys, and as Steve pointed out the other night, with any kind of wind, that's not very far. 408 to dead center. That is a poke, and the wind helping to right. Now, you hit anything 320 to right, you got a shot. Struck him out.
Get it up in the air, and that ball is going to carry. Those 360 alleys are really like Wrigley Field alleys because of the wind blowing so much there. Let's take a look at this hanging slider up, probably too high up, which makes it a good pitch and strike 3.
Jeff Conway, the leadoff man, who was hit by a pitch to start off the ball game. So Wheeler has plunked a couple and walked 2, and Harkrider still enjoying that blast that put him up 2-0. I think this is even more of a special moment for guys who can't go on and play in the major leagues, guys who are just good college baseball players. This is something they'll remember forever, maybe the highlight of their entire life.
Each magical moment, like Harkrider's home run, will be talked about more than guys who are all-stars in the major leagues.
Yeah.
Those things become a little bit of commonplace.
Hit hard to straightaway center, but Prodanov with room. And 2 gone.
Like one of the joys of playing in the major leagues was going to different cities and seeing guys who I had played with as far down as Little League and as recently as college baseball, and talking to them about the good old days. We always had games, championship games, or big games like at Michigan State against Minnesota for the Big Ten championship. We reminisced about them, and it was nice for the guys to know that they play with a guy that's in the major leagues, and for me to know that they still cared enough to come out to the ballpark.
Sure. Steve Heinrich with 2 out, nobody on, against Wheeler. He walked in the first. Remember, Texas had the big rally in the first. It didn't produce anything. And then the shortstop Harkrider gets them 2 here in the second with a home run.
Conway, Heinrich, and of course Kieschnick. They've got to hit. You can't have a 1 for 12 evening with these guys. Conway and Heinrich have to get on for Kieschnick and Hickman.
Inside to Heinrich, it's 3-1.
A Harkrider with a 2-run home run is a real bonus.
Sure
for
is.
Cliff Gustafson, and he knows that. He's pulling for these guys.
And you talked about the emotions early. That had to give him a huge lift, especially after that first inning.
Especially after the first inning. But there's something about history. There's something about tradition. And if one of these two teams has the most of it, it's Texas.
Yep.
This Cowboy program has really developed through the years. They've got some, but nothing like Texas.
Toward the hole and through into left field. So Heinrich gets on again for Kieschnick. Now Kieschnick has hit well in the College World Series. He's 3 for 8, but they're all singles. He really hasn't had a chance to turn on something. First time up, he hit a anemic fly ball to left field. And with 19 regular season home runs and 81 RBIs, you know he'd just love to jack one out of here.
But every coach has said all you want to do with the great ones is contain them. And so far, he's been contained. But tonight, that wind blowing to right.
Ripped inside the bag. Heinrich turns second on his way to third as Chadrick comes up with it and hustled over to get it back in. So another single for Kieschnick, and Heinrich goes to third. Good defense by Thad Chadrick in right field. He was pulled over toward the line because of Kieschnick's power that way. Anyhow,
here's the pitch. Slider down and in, and Kieschnick, who's got excellent balance, hooks it just inside the bag. Little wiggle. See how he extends those arms down and in, keeps the head on the ball. Now he starts to make the turn, thinking about two, but held up.
It'll leave it up to Braxton Hickman with runners at first and third and 2 out. Texas already has 2 runs in, and Earl Wheeler will be the center of another discussion. Rob Linfanti is warming in the Oklahoma State bullpen, and Wheeler is out there pleading his case.
He's telling him to settle down. He needs to keep the ball down. That young man, Braxton Hickman, was one of my dinner partners last night, Mike. He's having dinner, and Braxton and Jeff Conway came up, said, Mr. Garvey would like to say hello, and fans of yours. I said, sit down for a minute. Oh, can we? Yeah, sit down. Tough loss tonight. Yes, sir, it was. You know, we thought we had them, and, you know, we're really down. I said, well, it's one game. You got another loss left. You guys are a good team. Braxton, you hit the ball hard, which you did last night. Jeff, you're coming off a shoulder separation, but you can swing well. It's just getting the arm over the head that's your problem. Yes, sir, I know that. 2 great young men, and if there are 2 guys that I felt would reposition themselves mentally for tonight, it would be Hickman and Conway.
You notice how everybody calls you Mr. Garvey, and when they address me, it's hey you?
Yeah. Mr. Garvey is only a matter of age. I always say that's my dad, and no, I'm not Steve Garvey. I'm his younger brother. That doesn't work anymore.
The runner at third, Heinrich. Kieschnick over at first with 2 down. Braxton Hickman, no balls and a strike.
If you're Hickman, you want to think with runners on the corners, hit it hard, drive the ball. Hit the ball where it's pitched. See, he's a real good disciplined hitter. But now he's behind in the count. Now you've got to cover the plate. You can't think about pulling.
Well, Gus is into this one early.
Catcher sits up outside. Nice try by Earl Wheeler that time, who's trying to pitch out of this jam. He's let up a 2-run home run and has one of the best hitters Texas has had in years at the plate.
Fly ball left field. Sean Hugo with a beat on it. And that's it. Texas strands 2, but the Harkrider home run gives them a 2-0 lead. Back in a minute. We'll go to the top of the third. Texas leading Oklahoma State 2-0. And if you just joined us, you get the feeling that 2 runs, even 4 or 5 runs, may not stand up tonight with a 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to right and to center. That's Harkrider, who had the 2-run homer, only his 4th of the year, to put Texas up 2-0. The other thing that complicates this, Steve, with the wind, right now right field is such an awful sun field. With the wind blowing, that increases the chances of a misplayed ball out there.
And Jerry Taylor, look at him shading his eyes now. He's shading his eyes even on the pitch. The sun is at the worst possible angle for the right fielder. So any ball hit to right field now is going to be an adventure. Now, on the other hand, for the hitter, It's the worst possible time because he's in the shadows. The pitcher's throwing from the sunlight. Tough to pick up the spin.
Tell you, if you're in right field right now, all you're saying is pitch him inside, make him pull it. I don't want it. Pitching him inside with the wind blowing to right's not a bad idea either.
No, that's right. Shadows coming from the third base left field side.
Ocasio right at Taylor, got a great jump and made the catch. Holy cow!
A great job by Jerry Taylor. What we talked about being the most difficult Sun field at this time. What concentration by a man who's really been the MVP of this Longhorn team so far.
That's a sensational play.
He comes in, dives, no doubt about it, picks it up about 6 inches up, shows it to the umpire. Great job by Jerry Taylor, doing it offensively and now defensively.
He's been the star of the series. Jason Heath is going to pinch hit here in the third. And he's pinch hitting for Grinstead. And that means Oklahoma State will go to their third catcher, Skip Shapp. Joe Wallace, remember, the starter, suspended for a game for that on-the-field incident yesterday. So Gary Ward not going to waste an at-bat. He goes to the pinch hitter early. Heath, a .291 hitter who has a couple of hits in the College World Series. And he is also the team leader in homers with 13, and the team leader in RBIs with 60.
I just thought about this, but I know that Gary Ward has been thinking about it since yesterday when Wallace was thrown out of the game. He may be in real jeopardy behind the plate.
Ripped and off the glove of Harkrider at short into center field. Well, they sent the right man up there. Heath just creamed that one. Oh, you're right about the catcher, Steve. What happens? You go to your third catcher and he gets hurt.
I'll talk about that just in 1 minute, but let's look at this swing. Gets the hands up and really gets on top. A good top hand, as they say. All the batting instructors talk about top hand. That was great top hand. A line shot at shortstop couldn't be handled. He's on first with a single.
And it's a base hit. Rivera walked his first time up as the Cowboys try to come back against Jay Vaught. And you know, Gary Ward, even though Rivera's a leadoff hitter, likes to see him up there with men on base. Second in RBIs. He's tied for second with home runs. He's an unusual leadoff hitter. He's got excellent power.
He's a big game hitter. He's a guy who drove in the winning run yesterday. Covers the plate well. Got some pop.
Low and inside, 1-1.
As we like to mention each game that you and I do, with our view from center field, our viewers can get an idea by watching the catcher shift from one side of the plate to the other as to where the location will be. Also, when he gives the signs, you can see him tap one side or the other every now and then. He sets up inside, fastball in.
Fouled it back.
That'll give us an idea of what he's thinking in terms of where to pitch the hitter. Williamson, a good solid catcher. Knows the game well. He's had a good World Series behind the plate. Looks for the signs. Very few college catchers call their own games. Tough hitter in Rivera against Jay Vaught, who's thrown very well so far. Sets up outside.
Just missed with a fastball. Cliff Gustafson says this guy has been an enigma. His fastball has been clocked as high as 94 miles an hour. His earned run average hasn't been below 6 this year since the opening day, and sometimes they just wonder why he can't get it done. He seems to have all the tools.
But he probably hangs a pitch every time to somebody in a crucial situation.
Beautiful pitch called strike 3. Rivera's gone. Fourth strikeout for Vaught.
All that means is he has tremendous potential, and here's an example. Look at that tight slider on the black. Rivera goes, oh no, I can't hit that pitch. How can you call? No. Oh well.
Now it's up to Roberto Lopez with 2 gone. Lopez struck out swinging in the first against Jay Vaught.
See him tap his legs and pitch him inside. Wow. That sun is right there. Now if a ball is hit to right center, it's going to be very, very difficult to see it. Probably the last 30 feet if you're running after it. Because that ball will be right in the sun.
2-0 to Lopez. Heath down at first doesn't have many stolen bases, but he's a good base runner. He's one of the best all-around athletes on this club. And there's the way they set up defensively from the center field camera. A little bit around toward left on Lopez, the switch hitter. Snap throw back to first.
Lopez will take the ball and shoot it up the middle. He'll shoot it the other way. Very rarely will he hit the ball hard to right. He'll pull it through the hole.
Takes a called strike, 2-1.
Going back to our feeling in this crucial game, the top 3 hitters really have to get on base for both teams. Roberto Lopez using the system excellently now, making Vaught throw a lot of pitches. He's been around the strike zone so far, but the more he throws, because he hasn't worked a whole lot, he just can't be in that good game condition, Mike, to be able to go 7, 8, 9 innings.
You're right. And we saw the problems with the Texas bullpen the other night when J.D. Smart came in and actually fueled the rally instead of putting it out. This one's fouled back.
Cliff Gustafson didn't even want to look down there, much less bring anybody in. He didn't want the seed planted in his mind that there was somebody else that he possibly could have brought in.
We had to feel badly for Smart the other night because he came in, thought he had a couple of guys struck out, didn't get the calls. And it was just a torturous relief appearance for him. Vaught so far 47 pitches, 42 of them have been fastballs. And there's a guy who knows about throwing a lot of pitches. You'd like to send this guy out every second day here.
172 was his last outing. The number of pitches thrown by Brooks Kieschnick.
At least he knows if he pitches again, it won't be against Oklahoma State.
That's right.
This is anybody but them. I don't think I can throw another 172.
Talk about an omen.
3-2 to Roberto Lopez, the sophomore second baseman. And look at Vaught in the postseason, 12-4. Of course, these are against better ball clubs, and his earned run average just a shade over 3.
Big game pitcher.
Fouled away again. Lopez wasting some good ones.
We're going to get one back here yet. Everybody's going to depend on me.
You got it.
And I don't have my glove.
My window's closed.
That's right.
I'm just assuming this is safety glass. I hope that's correct.
Maybe, maybe not. Let's go back to Gary Ward and his philosophies. 15-90, 15 pitches an inning, 90 over 6 innings.
Fouled away again.
See, he loves this. Gary Ward loves this. He wants his hitters with 3-2 counts to foul off pitches. That man just, it's a little smirk on his face right there. You can't see. That's almost a laugh for Gary Ward right there, because he said, I love this. 3 pitches fouled off by Lopez.
Tell you what, if Lopez could get a piece of about 9 more, Gary Ward would have a smile on his face. You'd have to beat it off.
He may run up and kiss him right here in front of 20,000 people. Rosenblatt.
Another 3-2.
This system.
Struck him out. We'll be back in a minute. As we go to the bottom of the third, it's a sellout crowd, and if you can't buy a ticket and can't get in, well, they used to have things called knothole clubs. That's metal, of course, but you can get a good view from the outside.
It's a stress hole on the medal instead of a knot hole.
Jason Heath, who was the pinch hitter in the last inning, will come in to catch. Very versatile ball player. And that will still leave him with Skip Sharp as a backup in that spot. We were talking about the loss of Joe Wallace, who was suspended for a game. So this is the third catcher they've gone through so far in this series.
Mike, there are big psychological problems when you lose your #1 catcher. The pitchers like him. They're used to him. He calls some pitches, but they feel very comfortable throwing to one catcher time after time. Now when you get to a younger catcher, a little more uncomfortable. Now when you get to your third catcher, it's got to be a detriment defensively.
Bottom of the third, Texas already leading at 2-0. Here's Jerry Taylor. 0 for 1. Pop to Ocasio his first time up. He's now 4 for 8 in the College World Series with a couple of home runs, 5 RBIs. Missed a big opportunity last time up with the bases loaded. Didn't miss that one. 5 out of 9 for Jerry Taylor in 3 ball games.
I would have bet on that one. Jerry Taylor, who's missed 2 opportunities with bases loaded in these last 2 games. He was focused. Nobody on this time. Fastball over the plate. He didn't miss this one. And he's probably saying to himself, why couldn't I have done that last time?
That'll bring up Stephen Larkin with nobody out here in the Texas third. Barry's younger brother, of course, with the Reds. Base hit, left center field toward the gap. Hugo can't cut it off all the way to the wall. Taylor coming around third. They'll wave him home. Here's the relay throw to the plate. It's not in time. Three-0 Horns. And Larkin comes through again.
Larkin, a big game player. He's just looked good at the plate. Last time he was burned on a tough slider. This time he slices this ball to the gap in left center. And he's got the right man on base because Jerry Taylor can really motor. It's a good job of hitting the cutoff man, but there's no chance to get Taylor, who hits the bag perfectly on the inside and heads directly for home and scores the third run.
17th double, 44th RBI for Stephen Larkin, the sophomore from Cincinnati. 3-0, a runner at second, still nobody out for Joel Williamson, the catcher. And he was part of a little controversy earlier when he leaned into one that was like that was a little more inside and managed to get hit.
Gave it a little bit of a flipper, as they say in football, that last time. Texas likes this man up at the plate now. He's done a very good job of hitting with men in scoring position.
Drilled. Prodanov can't get there off the wall. Larkin had to hold up, and they'll have to hold him at third. So a 400-foot double for Williamson gets Larkin from second to third.
That man was the right man at the right time, and he hit a ball to left center that as Prodanov went to make the catch, it sailed back over his head. Now watch this. Prodanov's going to come back. He's got a chance. Now it comes and sails over, and he's got to hit the cutoff man again. The runner tags up, and he's held by Gustafson, who knows that there are going to be no outs and 2 runners in scoring position.
And that ball must have been hit awfully hard because the wind is blowing about 20 miles to right, and it didn't come back at all. We've got a pitching change. We'll check it out for you when we come back. 3-0 Texas. A pitching change in the bottom of the third with Texas already leading at 3-0. Cliff Gustafson knew his ball club was going to be here this year after they went through the regionals, but there was a while that he wasn't too sure when he was going to be here. And it only took about 10 seconds. That's his pickup truck in the front of an 18-wheeler. It hit him from behind, spun him around, and hit him again in an 8-car accident outside of Austin as they were getting ready to go to the airport to come here. And Cliff said he had about 5 seconds before it hit him the second time and said he thought it was all over.
It's a tough man right there. Didn't even get a cut on him. So when we talk about super head coaches, that's the Superman of head coaches. Very, very lucky. He knows that he was in God's hands that time.
Rob Linfonte, 21 games. He has 4 saves coming out of the pen. His ERA is over 5. 50 strikeouts in 35 and a third innings. So he is a power pitcher. The book on Wheeler, 2 innings pitched, 2 innings plus, 6 hits, 3 runs. He's responsible for the 2 men on. Hit 2, walked 2, and struck out 2. And Harkrider, who did the most damage with that 2-run homer, comes up here.
And just because he's hit a home run doesn't mean he can't bunt. This is a good squeeze situation.
Hit down the left field line. Hugo going over. Fair territory. That will get Larkin home. And it's 4-0. Williamson had to hold at second base. So Harkrider with his 3rd RBI of the ball game on the sacrifice, and Larkin gets the congratulations for his hitting job as he goes to the dugout. I was sort of expecting what you were. As well as Larkin can handle a bat, I thought Cliff Gustafson might go for the suicide or safety squeeze, but instead gets the fly ball sacrifice.
First baseman was back. Could have gone either way. Paid off for Gustafson.
Marcus Henry 0 for 1.
Here's your bonus player. Marcus Henry has played an excellent third base. All Texas wants is a hit now and then from him, a walk, move the runner over. That's why he's a good role player. See the catcher set up outside, hit it away. See, he tried to hit it to right field. He knows his role. He's a good athlete.
Henry struck out swinging the first time up. He's really had trouble making contact. Only 34 at-bats this year. He has fanned 15 times.
Tough to get your timing in 34 at-bats.
Yeah.
But he's done well here.
1 out, a runner at second. A little high from Rob Linfonte. Another big kid, 6'3", 215. Can generate some heat.
Rears back and fires the ball, and that's what you want from a reliever in this situation. Another run and the game starts to get out of hand. See, that's an example of trying to squeeze that ball too hard that time. He gritted it up there. Just blew a little air in those cheeks and said, wait a minute, I got to settle down a little bit now, stay within myself. Coach Adams, Coach Ward told me, concentration, relaxation. There's a 4-seam fastball.
Too high, and the count goes full to Henry. Jason Bell warming in the Oklahoma State bullpen in case they need somebody else to put out this fire. And you're down to the point here in a single elimination situation where if you have to use the whole staff, you use the whole staff.
Everybody. Yesterday's pitcher is available.
Yes, sir. To center field. Prodanov will make the catch. There's the tag, and the runner will come back as Prodanov has a pretty good arm in center field. 2 gone in the Texas 4th. And back to the top of the order to Jeff Conway.
Just a brief comment on Prodanov. Good skills in center field. Goes back well. The only reason he really didn't track that ball that was hit by Williamson was it just curved back because of the 20-mile-per-hour wind.
If you had to pick an all-star defensive outfielder with guys that you played against, who would you like?
Oh, wow. I played against Clemente.
That's one.
Willie Mays.
Yeah, that's 2. You don't need anybody else.
And the rest could play left field.
Yeah.
So many good ones, though. But those 2 guys, I remember hitting a ball off the wall in Pittsburgh. He almost threw me out at first.
He had the greatest arm I ever saw.
I was going for 2. I rounded the bag. I was just cruising. I was going for second. I looked up, and I wasn't even a third of the way, and the second baseman was fielding it. I put on the brakes, and they almost threw me out back at first.
0-2 to Jeff Conway, trying to get another run for the Longhorns, and time is called.
We talked about Conway coming off a shoulder separation. We talked last night, dinner we had with Hickman and Conway and myself. He said he can swing well because it's horizontal. He just can't throw that well. And that's the problem with shoulder separations. I had a slight one. Very difficult to get your arm up in a vertical position, but you can go sideways pretty well.
That's something we'll watch when Conway is in center field. It might be tough for him to get the glove hand up if it's a ball he's got to catch on the run. Slaps it that down the left field line, but it's twisting foul, and Hugo can't get there. This game is tough enough without playing hurt.
Well, it's accumulative, especially in the professional level. You play day after day after day. You don't have time to heal. Football, you have a whole week. Even college baseball, you've got 3-4 days in between, except for the weekends.
Chopped down toward first, foul ball. What did Gary Ward call football this morning? He says it's an organized fight.
That's right. Well, he was talking about the amount of time you have to spend teaching in baseball compared to basketball and football, and he felt that football was the least teaching that had to be done. He felt basketball in an hour and a half you had to do a lot of teaching, but you could get everything done. Baseball, he felt it took 3.5, 4 hours to really have a good teaching day. All the different skills needed to play baseball well.
1-2 from Rob Linfante to Conway. Hit to straightaway center field, and Prodanov comes in a few steps. Now the wind knocking it down a little further, and that's 3 gone. But Texas adds another 2, and they lead it 4-0. Physical and mental errors came up and bit the Texas A&M Aggies earlier today, both in the field and on the base path. Whoops. As a result, the top-ranked and top-seeded team in the College World Series sent home by the 49ers of Long Beach State. The Dirtbags win it 6-2. And Long Beach State lives to fight another day. Just have to love a team that's nicknamed itself the Dirtbags. I don't care. Especially California guys.
And they're getting dirty. They're scratching, they're clawing. They had Choi on the mound today. Pitched a very good 7, I think, a third innings. They're in it.
We go to the top of the 4th, and Jay Vaught has allowed a single base hit and leads it 4-0 for the Texas Longhorns.
Second time around for the Cowboys. Sean Hugo, the number 3 hitter. It's about time they started swinging the bats, but they'll stay disciplined maybe one more time around.
Hugo hits it foul off the right side. When you take a look at the stats for Jay Vaught, pitching this year, teams have hit .333 against him. I mean, they've just shelled this guy. Tonight he looks like Nolan Ryan. 1 hit through 3 1/3, or 3+.
We talked about being a big game pitcher. He's been in disguise until tonight. Tonight he's really hit the mitt very well. Mixed speeds, good locations, got ahead of the hitters. That's been the big key.
And struck out 5.
He drops down with a little sidearm slider mixed into his repertoire.
That's got to be a shock value to a left-handed hitter to see a right-hander drop down that far.
Even more of a shock value to a right-handed hitter.
Oh, yeah.
Your eyes have a tendency to really get wide.
Well, that's more fear.
That's right.
I'm sure Hugo is standing here saying, who does he think I am?
Yeah. Dropping down on me. Do I look like Musial?
No, with Musial, it was 4 lone behind him and then pick him off first base.
That's right. Sets up inside now. Fastball.
Just missed. Count goes full to Sean Hugo, leading off the Oklahoma State 4th. Love to get something started against Vaught.
This young man right here has to throw a strike now. He doesn't want to walk anybody. That's the worst thing he can do. Walks have really hurt teams in this World Series.
He's already walked 2. Whoa, incoming. I was glad to see you flinch too.
This monitor's real close to me. Good fastball right back. Oh. If I would have stuck my hand up, I would have knocked you cold. We're not saying it's close here at Rosenblatt's press box.
No, we're 80 feet above where that ball hit, but struck him out. 6 for Jay Vaught.
Here's center field shot right here. Look at that fastball right away. It's tough to get on top of that. Sean Hugo swings right through it. Becomes the 6th strikeout.
Ties a career high in only 3 1/3. Prodanov fouls this off. He struck out the last 3 men he has faced. Prodanov 0 for 1, 3 for 10 in the College World Series with a home run and an RBI.
Good looking young hitter, though. Catcher sets up outside for the slider.
From Princeton Junction, New Jersey.
I've been there.
Well, his parents escaped from Bulgaria in 1968. Have you been there?
No, but I'm quite sure his father was involved with international studies at Princeton. That's right in the shadows of Princeton University, the Tigers.
And his mom, an attorney for the New York Times. So be careful of what you say.
All the news that's fit to print. And opinions from the left.
Oh. I'll leave that one alone. 2 balls and a strike, 1 gone, nobody on in the Cowboys' 4th. Prodanov rips it fair over the third baseman's head. Henry just couldn't get the glove up. Prodanov going for 2. Larkin's throw not nearly in time.
We talked about Prodanov being a very good disciplined hitter who's hit some big home runs for the Cowboys, and he does it again by taking a nice pitch and just hooking it down the third base line. Take a look at this good close stance. I like that. See, he takes the pitch, uses his hands, just hooks it right over Henry's glove and hustles into second base. Good
Runner
job.
at second, 1 out, and Larkin hustled over there to get the ball but couldn't make the throw in time. Sal Bando Jr. walked the first time up. Let's get down to Larry Conley. Larry.
Thanks, Mike. I am sitting here with Sandy and Sal Bando Sr. Sal Bando Jr. batting right now. Sal was the MVP of this College World Series for Arizona State, 1965, Sal?
It's not long ago, Larry.
Tell us about it.
Well, it wasn't the excitement they have here. The ballpark was a lot different, and we didn't have aluminum bats. But it was a lot of fun, and we had to lead all the way, and then we had to beat Ohio State. Ohio State had to beat us twice. They beat us the first game, and we won the last one to be national champs.
You got anything for my partner up there, Steve Garvey?
As a young kid, I used to watch Steve play, and he was an idol of mine.
What's it like for you to watch your son playing here in the series?
I'm a nervous wreck. Every time he goes out in the field or he's up at the plate, my wife does the praying and I do the cheering, and we just hope he does well.
What's it like for the real World Series compared to this one?
Well, I think they all have their place. When you're in college, it is the only thing that's going on. When you get into professional ball, then that becomes the only thing. And I think the excitement for me was equal.
Steve, Mike, pretty good guy here.
Yes, he is, and I had a chance to play against Sal in the World Series, and no better competitor than Sal Bando. And I'm quite sure some of that judgment and leadership and skills have rubbed off on his son.
That was foul ball, by the way, off the foot of Sal Bando Jr. Walk it off like your dad.
Here's a man who is streaking his hair gray right there for a little bit of maturity. That's my comeback. Let's take a look now. Sal Bando Jr. Watch the front foot. Watch the ball hit right off the toe. Ow. Now what happens is that foot and toe goes numb and you can't feel it. And a lot of times the rest of the at bat you really can't feel your foot landing, or when you do there is some pain. You're up there a little ginger.
2-2 to Bando. Just held off the breaking pitch. They appeal to third. No. And the count will go to full. The Oklahoma State philosophy, of course, is to take the pitcher as deep into the count as they can, but right now is when they hope to start reaching him after he's thrown quite a few balls.
Good hitters count. Don't get the ball inside. Ooh.
Fortunately, that stayed in the field of play.
If you're Sal Bando Jr. now with a 3-2 count, I'd move up on the plate a little bit. Make him pitch you inside. Make him come into you, because that wind, even though it's down to about 15 miles per hour, is still really blowing to right field.
And he has 12 home runs this year.
It's the hands up high, like Yastrzemski and Kruk. Pitch him.
Oh, nearly hit him. Bando goes down to first. 68 pitches for Jay Vaught so far.
We talked about moving up on the plate, forcing a pitcher to come inside, and that's what Vaught does, but too far inside. Almost hit Sal Bando Jr.
Walks are a lot more fun. Wow, they're saying it did hit him.
Nicked him.
Didn't look like it from the replay. If you're going to get hit, that's the way to do it. Just tipped.
Well, they're not going to put any spray on him. It wasn't that bad. It was 3-2 anyway.
2 walks and a hit batter from Vaught, who's also struck out 6. And this is Hunter Triplett, flied to left his first time up. Now hitting .303 on the year, .500 in the College World Series.
Good power to right center.
Just inside with a fastball.
It's one of the reasons that Gary Ward likes Hunter Triplett in this spot. He can hit to all fields, and he can drive the ball to right center.
And the sun only a factor right now in the middle of center field. Conway framed by it out there. Fastball just a little high, 2-0.
I'm not so sure that in this situation with your team down by 4 runs that you may deviate from that, take a first strike, because Vaught, I think, is losing a mile or 2 per hour now, and he's, to me, good hitting speed. So you got to go up there at your second time around and take some cuts.
Throw to first, and Bando is caught. Well, there's a big momentum shifter. Jay Vaught picked him off.
And Holliday, the coach, is arguing. Bando can't believe it. Neither can his parents. This is a situation where the first baseman gives a sign to the catcher, who relays it to the pitcher. Now he's back. Now he breaks. As soon as he breaks, the pitcher's to throw the ball. Pretty tough call from that angle. It's a tough call when the hand slides in and the glove comes down.
We mentioned this the other night. Sometimes when you're the trail runner, you tend to go a little bit to sleep, and it cost Bando that time. And Vaught, trying to take advantage, pours a fastball in there.
Better to be a half a step closer to the bag instead of trying to get too much of a jump, because we've seen both of the pickoffs we've had have been behind the runners.
2 outs, a runner at second for Triplett. He has a 2-1 count. That's Prodanov down at second. Pop foul, that'll get back out of play. 2-2.
Big difference between runners on first and second and 1 out, and now 2 outs, especially to the pitcher and catcher, who can work Triplett a little differently now.
Thad Chadrick is on deck. He has some power, but only 9 home runs compared to 12 for Triplett. Outfield straight away.
Sets up outside.
Missed, and the count is full again.
The one good thing for the Cowboys, Vaught is continuing to throw a lot of pitches. Full count last time, full count this time. It's big and strong, but how long can he go?
He's already thrown 24 in this inning. So the Gary Ward system is working. Total 74. So he won't have any trouble reaching the 1590 mark.
That'll be done very easily.
And we're in the 4th.
That's why that man right there, Gary Ward, is under control right now. He's not too anxious. He's still got time.
Hit towards short. Harkrider throws him out, so the pickoff, a big play in this inning, will go to the bottom of the fourth. Texas still leads it 4-0.
Baseball America is
Brooks
very pleased.
Kieschnick,
Presents
2 Player of the Year awards in 1 week. Collegiate baseball, this was last Thursday. Collegiate Baseball America, Brooks Kieschnick, the Player of the Year.
Winner of the 1993 Dick Hauser Award, and that goes again to Brooks Kieschnick.
That's today, the Dick Hauser Award, named in honor of the late Florida State coach. And this young man with his arm and his bat has earned him. Outstanding player, drafted by the Cubs, 10th overall in the first round of the Major League Draft. Great future. Steve Heinrich will lead it off against Rob Linfante in the Texas fourth. Longhorns already up 4-0. And Kieschnick is on deck. Heinrich 1 for 1, a walk and a single.
First 3 batters have gotten up 4 times in 7 at-bats. That's what you want. Texas needs those first 3 guys on base, and it's paid off.
Strike called. 2-1 from Linfante, who comes into this game with a 3-4 record and a 5.09 ERA. His job is to hold him and hope that Oklahoma State's bats will finally unload against Texas.
You've got to get 2 more good innings off of Linfante. You can't go to that pen too many times.
Strike at the knees, 3-2.
Without the quality really going down.
Yeah.
Even though the guys are strong in college baseball, there is somewhat of a drop-off after your first 2 starters and your key reliever.
Jake Benz, a left-hander, is working down in the bullpen right now in case Linfante falters. And Heinrich is on again. 2 walks and a base hit for the second baseman. What a great walk-on acquisition he was for the Texas program. And here is Kieschnick, the best home run hitter, the second best RBI man in Texas history, and 116 extra base hits. That's something he hasn't been able to do in the College World Series. He has 4 hits, but they're all singles.
Last time should have been a double. He hooked it inside the bag down the first base line, but a good job by Chadwick in retrieving the ball.
The wind still blowing to right, 15 to 20 miles an hour. Anything up in the jet stream is gone. Every other game so far here, it had been blowing to left.
Little cross-up between the catcher and the umpire that time. The umpire has to adjust to the catcher behind home plate. A little bumping.
Breaking ball, called strike. You know, Kieschnick has been good ever since he has been at Texas. Unanimous Southwest Conference Player of the Year for 3 straight years in all 5 polls. I mean, everybody just handed it to him.
He's due.
Outside, and it got away from Jason Heath. Remember, Heath is the 3rd catcher on this ball club. They lost Wallace to a suspension. Grinstead played the first 2 innings tonight, and Heath came in.
But to Heath's credit, he has no chance on this fastball that really hits too wide and then kicks up. Very, very difficult. Not too many good defensive catchers could have got a piece of that one.
Heinrich down at second base with nobody out. And a base hit here by Kieschnick could make it 5-0.
Kieschnick's got to pull the ball now. With nobody out, he wants to at least advance the runner.
Popped it up into left field. Sean Hugo will make the catch, and Heinrich has to stay at second base. So Linfante did a good job with college baseball's Player of the Year.
Kieschnick gets a pitch down the proverbial Broadway and hits it to Staten Island instead of the Bronx, and he knows it. He really wants to drive this one. A little bit too much of an uppercut instead of hitting down through the ball. He knows it's just a little pop out.
Braxton Hickman up. Runner at second and 1 out. Hickman 0 for 1. He also walked. Tips this one foul.
So difficult, Mike, when you're a young hitter to try to contain yourself and to do what the situation dictates instead of wanting to hit the ball in the air where the wind's blowing to a short right center field wall, and all these things overcome you. But as you get older, you learn you got to do what the situation dictates.
Hickman pulls it. Lopez comes up and throws him out. 2 gone. Heinrich goes on to third. Good. This will bring up Jerry Taylor, a guy they might start to consider just walking and leaving him over there.
Get him forward, put him on first base. Infante that time doing a good job of mixing the speeds up of his pitches. Gary Ward, who's an excellent pitching coach as well as a head coach, he believes in the 3 keys to pitching being the plane, the location, and the speed. And theoretically, if a fastball is 82, he'd want the slider to be 76 miles an hour, the curve to be 72, the changeup to be 68, all contrasting speeds.
Too high to Taylor. 1 for 2 tonight. 5 for 9 in the College World Series. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, a double.
And an MVP lurking in the distance if Texas can get to the final game.
And a sparkling defensive play in right field earlier in this one.
Under the conditions we talked about of the sun being directly in his eyes, that was a magnificent play.
2 outs, a runner at third. Texas already leading 4-0 in the home half of the 4th. Fastball fouled back.
You know, Mike, I'm not so sure that the glasses he's wearing with that orangish lens isn't a benefit right now. If you see right there, what that does is it brightens things up a little bit. And he may be seeing the ball a little better at this time of day than the other hitters, and that may be one of the reasons. And obviously he's been hitting the ball very well.
Well, if it works, they'll sell 2,000 pair tomorrow, you know.
That's right. Everybody will be wearing them up at the plate. But at this time of day, I'm not so sure it's a benefit during regular bright sunlight or even when it's dark with the lights on. But at twilight, it may just brighten things up enough to be able to visually pick the ball up better.
Had a pair of those things on. It is a different experience.
Just sits up outside.
Took a high fastball and fouled it back. 2-2.
See, that's a tough pitch. If you go to swing at that, that's difficult to get a piece of. And there's our young lady who made the catch. She's got more standing ovations at Rosenblatt Stadium than I think any of the players have gotten. She's just a sweetheart who catches the ball off the screen. We're going to get a picture of her here before the game's over.
2-2 to Taylor. Heinrich down at third. Change speeds and missed high.
Two things are going to happen here. Infante shouldn't really try to give him a good pitch to hit. But if he does, Taylor's going to nail it. He's been on the pitches. If I was Infante, I'd just throw a slider away, and if I missed, so be it.
Fastball hit off the right side. The wind blowing it toward the stands. And he gets back about 10 rows. Great crowd on a perfect night for baseball.
Let's take a look at this swing from the side. Taylor right on this outside fastball, extends out, lets go of the bat. Feels his shoulder. See, what happened was he let go of the bat and went all the way around and really hyperextended that joint. He felt that one.
Another 3-2. Fastball hit straight up in the air. The shortstop Ocasio back on the grass. And he dropped it. Ocasio dropped the ball. A little casual with the left hand, just one-handed it, and it popped out. Holy cow.
The Cowboys down physically 4-0.
Look at that.
Show they're down mentally with this. It's a mental error. He's made 1,000 of these pop-up catches. He just casually goes over. Does he take his eyes off it? And he tries to squeeze it, and he catches it more in the palm of his glove, and it's an error. And now it's 5-0 Texas.
You know, there aren't many people that make two-handed catches anymore, but you never saw that 20 years ago. Nobody dropped those because they put two hands on it.
That's the kind of ball that you've got to get under, and you got to put your nose on it, and you got to put your glove and your bare hand and secure it. That's what you call casually going over and kind of olaying the ball a little bit.
Larkin rips it down the left field line, but slicing foul. It's 5-0 with 2 out. Taylor at first, and Larkin up, who was 1 for 2, doubled to left center and drove in a run his last time up. And psychologically, a huge blow for Oklahoma State. Now they're down 5-0. And the pit that they've dug themselves getting a little deep. Now I think they're going to come out and tend to Jerry Taylor down at first, who still looks like he's in some discomfort after running on that last foul ball, and he's pointing to that left shoulder.
He's talking about his left pectoral muscle. See, that bat came around one-handed, and what he probably did was, see, he's running with just one arm pumping the right hand. And he's in pain right there. What he probably did was stretch it, and that hurts.
That is so indicative of a player running with his arm down there of a separated, some kind of separation.
Separation, stretch muscle, pull ligament. When that hangs down, I know I've had a hyperextended elbow, and I couldn't pick my arm up. Anything that happens from that shoulder joint down, or even with the clavicle, you have no strength. You lose your strength. And
Ocasio is out there kicking himself around shortstop for that last play. And that's the kind of play, the routine plays, that he has always made for Oklahoma State. He's not a shortstop with great tools, but he makes all the routine plays to keep you in a ball game. And now they're going to have to take Jerry Taylor out of the ball game. And Mark Prather will come in and run for him. And this could be a big blow to Texas, depending on the diagnosis of what happens with Jerry Taylor.
Might not have an effect tonight, but it might have an effect the next game. There's a man who knows that he's hurt. Anytime you kick things around, and you can see the emotion in his face, he knows that this just isn't a cramp. He knows something's wrong.
And he is the hottest hitter in the College World Series. So we'll hope for good things for that young man, that he can come back if Texas goes on to win this ball game and stays in the College World Series. Check in with Larry Conley. Larry, what do you have?
Yeah, Mike, Stephen Larkin's wearing a wristband on his right arm right there that brother Barry Larkin sent to him. And basically it says, say no to drugs. I think a pretty good message not only for athletes, but just about everybody.
Well, you're right about that. Nice to have the older brother looking out for you, too.
Barry Larkin's that type of young man and athlete. He cares about his community. He's done a great job. Maybe the best shortstop in the National League, if not baseball. An athlete who cares.
This one's fouled out of play. As much as I admire Barry Larkin and think he will be the best shortstop in the National League, let me get in a plug for Ozzie, who I think is the best shortstop that ever played the game.
Well, I think defensively, yes. I think Barry Larkin might have a little more range now.
Yeah.
But as far as to the balls that Ozzie gets to, there's nobody better. Offensively, Barry's got some more pop, more power. He probably should have gone to Michigan State instead of Michigan. That's the only mistake he made.
But I never saw anybody like the Wizard.
No.
Prather down at first. 4 stolen bases this year with Larkin at the plate. He goes. A good throw, but never had a chance. Stolen on Linfante.
Good throw by Heath, but this base is stolen against the pitcher. Take a look. Just barely peeks at him. He's off. No chance, even with a good release and throw by Jason Heath.
So the potential 6th run of the ball game for Texas down at second base for Larkin. Strike 3 call. Linfante gets out of the inning after giving up 1 unearned run on the drop pop fly.
I remember our first game was against Texas at that time, and Roger Clemens took the mound and ended up striking out the first 9.
Well, that's 6 strikeouts in a row. Clemens has sent down the first 6 batters he has faced.
That's what I remember most about it, but, the whole overall experience was just a lot of fun.
And he's still doing that.
Amazingly so. I host a series called Baseball's Greatest Games, and we had his 20 strikeout game when he pitched at Boston. What a magnificent evening that was. I mean, there was no contest.
Mark Prather, who was the pinch runner, goes in to play center field, and Jeff Conway will shift from center to right as we go to the top of the 5th inning. And Thad Chadwick will lead it off for Oklahoma State against Jay Vaught, who's been out overpowering. Chadwick is 0 for 1. Vaught has already fanned a half dozen and allowed only 2 hits through the first 4. Some Roger Clemens kind of numbers.
We knew Jay Vaught had potential. We knew also that he had a good year, but a very, very bad earned run average. But his postseason is phenomenal. And tonight he's gone out here and far exceeded our expectations.
He's thrown 77th so far. Still 95 behind Kieschnick, however, for the team record. Outside, dropped down and missed 1 and 2. Ocasio is on deck. Flailed at it, popped it to shallow center. Prather got there in plenty of time. 1 gone. So Texas pretty good defensively out there with Prather and Conway.
Here's a good example of a pitcher making a hitter hit his pitch. A one-handed swing, a bad guesstimate by Chadwick, and 1 away.
Ocasio robbed by Taylor with that brilliant catch in the 3rd inning, and would like to come up there and atone for dropping that pop fly that allowed a run in the last inning.
This is a situation where every guy who's made an error and has a chance to get up right away, he really does want to atone for it. And he may go up there swinging, and Gary Ward is saying to himself right now, you got to take a pitch. You're out of the system. Don't go up there and lose your composure. He's also got to take that back into the field too, and the next ball hit to him, he can't kick that one. He's got to stay within himself. Got to forget the error. This is only the top of the 5th inning. They're still in the game. Stay within the system, Gary Ward says.
Breaking ball on the corner, 1 and 2. Ocasio is one of 2 players. The other is Rivera, to have started all of the games for Oklahoma State this year.
Sets up outside, fastball.
Right there, strike 3 called, the 7th K for Jay Vaught.
Jay Vaught is a big problem for Oklahoma State. Look at that. He hits that mitt right on the black, outside corner, strike 3. Ocasio knows it.
It's a career high strikeout total for Jay Vaught, his 7th in 4 2/3 innings.
You're going to be in big trouble tomorrow.
Nobody on, 2 out. Here's Heath, the catcher.
Mike, there is such a thing as a career best, and we all know it, and all of us strive for it. And tonight, we may be watching Jay Vaught at his very, very best. Tonight, he may be reaching his potential. He's done it for 4 2/3 now.
Another good pitch in there, 1-1. Heath has one of the 2 hits, got it as a pinch hitter. Came in early for Grinstead.
To all of our young pitchers, the key is getting ahead of the hitters, making the hitter hit your pitch. Those 3 keys that we talked about with Gary Ward: the plane of the pitch, is it breaking down or riding up, location, and speed, mixing speeds, different locations, different planes. Those are the 3 pluses for a good pitcher.
Great night to be at the ballpark. Hit a ton to dead center field. Pray they're going back, off the wall. And Heath is in with a stand-up double. Heath, 2 for 2, has 4 hits in the College World Series. He's been a terror in postseason.
Jason Heath bringing the Cowboy fans out of their seats with a ball that had a good chance of going out. Hits off the center field wall for a stand-up double. But let's take a look. Hands down, cocks the ball bat like Sheffield does for the Padres, and just really tags it. Good quick bat. Very impressed with Jason Heath and his bat speed. Pretty happy with himself. Got a pitch, hit it. But they need more.
16th double of the year, and Ernesto Rivera trying to pick him up. Rivera 0 for 1 and a walk. He has 60 RBIs this year and 12 home runs. And Vaught comes right back with a strike. He's allowed only 3 hits. Well, the 1, 2, 3 hitters in the Oklahoma State lineup have just struggled tonight. 5 of them have struck out in 6 at bats.
Not only haven't they gotten on, they haven't put the ball in play.
Yeah.
And that's what the system of Oklahoma State says is, okay, we're going to put it in play. We're going to fight the ball off. We're not going to strike out much because we're not going to take big swings.
And you've got to do it against Texas. It's a team that's had at least 1 error in 52 of 65 games. You have to make them field the ball. Ooh, nasty pitch, but it's too low. And Williamson able to get to it. I don't think Heath is going anywhere, down 5-0.
Now he's got weights in his shoes right now. And with hard hit balls to right and left, I'm quite sure he'll be held up also.
Hugo, the on-deck hitter, as Gary Ward trying to get something started. 2 gone here in the 5th. Down 5-0 to the Longhorns, and Jay Vaught, the surprise star of this ball game.
Not even sweating hard, composed, throwing nice and loose.
Hit toward right. Conway is there, and the inning is over. A runner stranded at second. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Longhorns still throwing a shutout. There has been organ music at the ballpark since there has been organ music and ballparks.
The sounds of baseball. Of course, we've talked about my favorite organist, Helen Dell, at Dodger Stadium. Helen plays baseball. She has that on 8-track, cassette, CD. Wonderful lady.
Joel Williamson, who has been another player, has shown a great bat in this College World Series. Now 4 for 8. He'll lead it off for the Longhorns against Rob Linfante, who was victimized by his defense in the last inning. Other than that, he's pitched quite well in relief. Williamson doubled over Protonov's head the last time up. And Protonov playing him a little bit deeper in center field this time.
Let's take a guess. What will it take to really break this game open?
3 more, I think.
Think it'll take 8? I think it'll take 1 more because Vaught is pitching too well. And even though Gustafson isn't or doesn't have a lot of confidence in his bullpen, I still think that he'll bring in the left-hander and it'll be enough. So, see, the problem is if Oklahoma State had more power and was hitting for power, that would make it easier, but they're going to have to manufacture a lot of runs, and soon.
called strike 2 on Williamson. Here's some good news from the training room for the Texas Longhorns. Jerry Taylor does not have a separated shoulder. He has a pulled muscle. And as much as that might affect him, it is not a separated shoulder. The 3-2 is grounded into right field. The base hit for Williamson, who was 2 for 2.
Williamson becoming more and more a star on this Longhorn team. A fellow who bats 7th, but he's been hit by a pitch. He boomed a double in the 3rd inning and hit the ball where it was pitched that time for a line shot single to right.
Let's go to Larry Connolly right now. Larry?
Mike, I was sitting next to the Texas dugout, and one of the players came up to me and said, "Do you notice anything different about our uniforms?" I said, "No." They said, "Well, everybody's got rallying caps. We're going to change and go down to the feet. We're going to pull our pants up and show more stirrups." So that's their new rallying call.
I
rally
knew there
socks.
was something different tonight, something about them that I really liked. You can see their socks.
It's
Look
the
at
Steve
that.
Garvey look.
Oh, I love it.
Coach Gustafson is going with the old style.
These guys look like ball players.
Harkrider pounds it into the ground, and the play will be to first. Harkrider is gone. Williamson goes down to second base. The tremendous Stanley Cup Final Series will continue tomorrow night as the incredible Patrick Waugh and the Montreal Canadiens try to close things out against Wayne Gretzky and the King at the Forum in Montreal. The last 3 games have gone into overtime with the Habs prevailing each time. It gets underway at 7:30 tomorrow only on ESPN. It has been a remarkable series to watch. Last night, Waugh made some shots or stops point blank. He was just marvelous. Harkrider bounces out, so Henry comes up. Henry 0 for 2, struck out and flied out. Williamson is down at second. Texas bidding for more, already leading 5-0. And we remind you, there have been so many comebacks this year in the College World Series. Henry is the only starter who hasn't reached base tonight for the Longhorns. The wind will push this one back out of play.
Like, I thought the error by Ocasio was more demoralizing than just letting in 1 run, because this Oklahoma State team really looks towards the 5th, 6th, 7th inning. And that would have been the time where they said, okay, 4 runs, we're within 1 swing of the bat. You know, we're right where we want them, so to speak, even down by 4. I think they're a little flat right now. You could tell by the way they swung the bat in the top of the 5th inning.
I think you're right. Henry came out of Canada College in California. He was an excellent hitter there, but has not shown it at Texas yet. Hitting under 250 for the season. He spikes this one into right field.
It'll be a play at the plate.
Chadrick with the throw. Here comes Williamson. They got it. What a throw by Thad Chadrick.
We talked about momentum. This could turn it around for Oklahoma State. Marcus Henry finally getting a single. This time a shot through the right side. On a good pitch, Henry hits it right on the nose. And here's Chadrick, comes up firing to Heath, the 3rd string catcher, who does a good job of catching it and putting the tag right on the forearm. Watch the runner coming in. Does a good job of diving. He slipped a little bit, Mike, which probably delayed him a little. Let's watch coming around 3rd. He hits there. He staggers a little bit. That slows him down. That gives Chadrick a chance.
But was the throw any good?
Right on the money.
So 2 gone, and Henry is down at first with his first base hit of the night, and Conway, the leadoff hitter, comes up. Well, those are plays. You talked about the momentum and the psychology. Those are plays that can turn it around. Hit high in the air to dead center. Prodanov settles under it. The inning is over. Texas fails to score on the great throw from Chadrick in right. We go to the top of the 6th in Omaha, Nebraska, the College World Series. Mike Patrick, Steve Garvey, Larry Connolly with you. Glad you could join us on a beautiful night from Omaha, where Texas is leading Oklahoma State 5-0. The loser of this ball game is out. The winner will play Thursday night for a chance to stay alive. Wichita State, the undefeated team in this bracket. The Shockers are 2-0. And now it is the typical time for Oklahoma State to begin to make their run. We go to the 6th. They have been unable to touch up Jay Vaught. Scattered 3 hits over 5 innings. Has struck out 7, and Roberto Lopez, who fanned twice, will lead it off.
The eyes of a winner right there. Man who's pitched a great game.
He's been superb. The number 3 starter. They had tabbed him as the number 2 when the season began, but he just didn't get it done and dropped down on the staff.
The only question is, can he close it now with a 5-0 lead?
That's his 92nd pitch, hit deep to right center. Prather got back there. An 88-mile-an-hour fastball that Lopez got around on, but didn't get all of it, and a guy that has warning track power.
Great percentage of first pitch strikes, 65%. That's the whole key to pitching, especially against a team like Oklahoma State, is getting ahead of the hitter so that you can work the hitter.
And he does it again. Here's a guy who had 28 walks in 69 1/3 innings coming in, but has yielded only 2 walks tonight compared with 7 strikeouts. And Sean Hugo comes up. He's fanned twice. We showed you earlier the top 3 guys in the order, 5 strikeouts out of 6 at-bats.
Sean Hugo is a young man who I thought would have great impact on tonight's game. He's been swinging the bat well, but it's the proverbial good pitching overcoming good hitting. He's got to refocus, start swinging the bat well.
2-1.
See a lot of open stances by this Oklahoma State team. Why? Because they're contact hitters. Gary Ward wants them to close in on the pitch and just use the hands and spray it around.
And Sean Hugo fits that system very well. Has good opposite field power.
I'm a firm believer in a little bit of a closed stance or a regular closed stance, because when you stride, if you have a closed stance, you'll have a tendency to cock the hips a little bit to begin with. Then as the ball's coming, you'll cock them and then release it for more power.
Outside, and he lost him. The 3rd walk issued by Jay Vaught. And with 1 out, a runner down to first. That was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball on the gun.
So much for the 15-90 at this point. Going into the 6th inning, that's Gary Ward's philosophy on pitching. The opposition's pitching. He wants them to throw at least 15 pitches an inning, 90 over 6 innings, but Jay Vaught is still very strong.
Here's Prodanov, who has swung the bat very well in this College World Series. He is 4 for 11. Doubled back in the 4th inning tonight.
A little deceiving with his bat speed. The ball really jumps off his bat, though. He must have good upper body strength.
Well, you talked about the closed stance a month ago. They got him to close his stance, and it's really helped him.
I think it makes a big difference. Here's a fellow who had trouble driving the ball. Now they've closed him up, and he hit a big home run in their first game and then hit one off the wall tonight. So for him, it really has made a difference.
You see most of the Oklahoma State hitters, they start with that open stance and then dive toward the plate.
See what happens? That locks your hips then. It's great for a contact hitter, but it's not good for a fellow who has power and wants to drive the ball. Unless you have super strength, unless you do a lot of weightlifting in the off season, you can just muscle it.
Pops this one off the right side. Does Hickman have room? He does. 2 gone as Prodanov pops out and Hugo stays at first base.
Nice and easy for one of the excellent college first basemen that I've ever seen. Braxton Hickman only made a couple of errors this year.
The frustration starting to show for Oklahoma State right now.
You can see it when they walk back from a pop-up or a strikeout.
Yeah.
You'll see them a little more demonstrative, maybe hitting the bat on the ground or taking the helmet and throwing it down.
This one's hit on the ground, and it was off the glove of Braxton Hickman, and therefore skipped by Heinrich. The base hit to right, and there's a break for Sal Bando Jr. Heinrich looked like he would have come up with that ball, but Hickman diving for it just got a piece of it.
We talked about the great ESPN coverage of the Stanley Cup, and that's how a lot of goals happen on deflections like that.
Yeah.
The second baseman probably would have had it easily, but Braxton Hickman, who does a good job defensively, excellent job, gets off, gets way off, takes one crossover step, another leap, and he gets a piece of it. If he would have caught it, it would have been just a great stop. But he deflects it enough for the ball to go past Heinrich into right field.
And you wonder if Oklahoma State can take advantage of the break. And here's Cliff Gustafson out to talk to his pitcher, Jay Vaught. That was hit number 4 off the junior right-hander. As the bullpen warms up for the Longhorns. Coach Gus has been here 17 times. 2 titles, been the runner-up 3 times. The worst he ever finished was 5th, and that was the first season he came here in 1968. Just a remarkable record, and such a pleasure to talk to Coach Gus. And he wanted us to say hello to his beautiful wife back home. Hope she's feeling fine. Gus Ball on ESPN.
She's a wonderful lady. Cliff would love to have her here. She's recovering now. And she's listening to every play. And forgive me for being a little critical of the old coach last night for not taking out Smart.
Well, you don't coach at this level without getting a little criticism every now and then, and I'm sure Coach Gus would be the first one to say he hasn't always been right.
It's different games. Different game on the field, different game up here in the press box, different game in the stands. That's the charm of baseball. Everybody can be a manager.
Yeah. Hunter triplet up the middle, base hit.
That's the icebreaker.
Sean Hugo will score, and Bando goes to third.
Triplett breaks the ice with a good line drive to right center, and the Cowboys put a run on the board here in the top of the 6th. Let's watch Voigt's pitch. Fastball nice and low. Triplett extends the arms and slashes it to right center. Gets his hands down, goes down after it. Good job of hitting by Hunter Triplett.
Well, we told you this has been the cardiac World Series so far. Almost every game has been a come-from-behind job. Chadrick 0 for 2. Has power. Hits this deep to left. But the wind will hold it up for Larkin. Wow. Yesterday, that's a home run. Tonight, it's an out, and it's 5-1 in the 6th. Oklahoma State finally gets on the board. They get 1, but still trail Texas 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. College World Series overall so far, we have had some sloppy play. 31 total errors in 9 games. That compares to 24 in all 14 games last year. The team batting average way off. That's reflective of some outstanding pitchers who are here. And we have passed the 100,000 mark in attendance tonight. Just a tremendous show from the fans of college baseball, citizens of Omaha, and 18,581. That includes some no-shows because all the tickets are gone. More than 19.6 this year with the expansion of the stadium. Congratulations to Omaha.
There will be no-shows starting Friday and Saturday, and probably Thursday also, because people really start to warm to this, and they may give some tickets away, and those people may not be able to make it, but they will be SRO here starting in a night or two.
Gary Ward goes to his bullpen for Jason Bell. a 6'3" freshman from Orlando, Florida. 5-2, an ERA over 5, and he will face Steve Heinrich leading off the Texas 6th. The Longhorns would like nothing better than to come back here and get an insurance run and get that lead back down to 4 right now. Heinrich 1 for 1. He's walked twice.
Mike, I never feel a team is out of the game if they're within 4 runs. I've seen it many times where even a dominant pitcher will walk a guy, an error, single, bases loaded, and then some guy who you don't expect will hit one down the line, and all of a sudden it's tied, and they end up winning. So if you're within 4 runs, you're still very much in the game.
I'm sure Gary Ward has told his team we got him right where we want him. This one's fouled back.
Jason Bell with a little bit of a hitch, which can be deceiving for a hitter sometimes. Bell, who's 6'3", 195 pounds. It's a little bit of a hesitation as he pushes the arm back and cocks the wrist.
This kid wanted to play Texas at baseball at Texas. We're talking about Heinrich, the hitter, so badly that he walked on, said he wouldn't play anywhere else, even though it had scholarship offers to play at other places. Swing and a miss. So Bell starts him off with a strikeout.
There's Jason Bell. Let's take a look at this swing by Heinrich. Good pitch. With that swing, head pulled out, no way he could touch it.
Here's Kieschnick. Still has yet to have an extra base hit in this year's College World Series. 1 for 3 tonight, another single. And people have been very careful with him, although you mentioned the last time he's had a couple of pitches to hit and just hasn't gotten on it.
Old swivel hips. Watch how he uses the hips for timing and rhythm. This is a tough time for Bell to face him. Kieschnick has seen a couple of good at-bats already. He's got one hit where he really pulled it down the line, but he's primed right now. He's zeroing in on Bell.
Got under that one, lifted it to left. The wind will hold it in, and Sean Hugo will make the catch a couple of strides short of the warning track. The second time Kieschnick has flown out to left field tonight.
See how that ball jumps off his bat. I mean, a normal left-handed hitter, a left fielder would have come in a little bit, but that ball drove Sean Hugo back almost to the warning track.
That's 3 flyouts to left for Kieschnick tonight.
Well, he's trying too much to muscle. When you try to do that, you swing with the arms and your bat's back, and you end up hitting fly balls the opposite way. You got to have a short stride, keep that head in, and use your hands.
2 outs in the bottom of the 6th for Braxton Hickman, who was 0 for 2. He walked, and his walk in the first loaded the bases. 5-1 Texas, bottom of the 6th. Jason Bell, the third Oklahoma State pitcher. And he made Hickman look bad on that one.
Some nice pitching by Jason Bell. Pitched Kieschnick very well as Heinrich. Struck out Heinrich, and Kieschnick to fly to left field. Mixing his speeds well.
Fastball missed high. Kieschnick, of course, hoping that his teammates can help win this ball game because he would be the pitcher on Thursday night. And he lost him. Hickman gets the free pass. So a runner on with 2 out here in the Texas 6th.
Is that a walk, Mike?
Yes.
That's how things happen. That's how things get started here at the College World Series, and most rallies get started by something as subtle as a little walk or hit batsman, and that's how Oklahoma State has been hurt tonight.
Prather rips it, but right at the second baseman Lopez, who gets the 4th. We finish 6th. 5-1 Texas. College World Series, Texas leading Oklahoma State 5-1. Mike Patrick, Steve Garvey, and Larry Conley. As we go to the top of the 7th, and Oklahoma State desperate now to get something started against Jay Vaught, who has given them a single run through 6 and scattered 5 hits.
Mike, Oklahoma State, as we talked about before, likes to really get to work in the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings. And last inning, they manufactured a run with a walk and a single and then another single.
Gary Ward hoping they can come back as they have so many times and show that hitting power they have. This is Ocasio, 0 for 2. Ripped to the first baseman, but Hickman with that great glove comes up, and there's one gone. If you tuned in to watch Major League Baseball, it will be coming up right after this when the expansion Florida Marlins, who have been a sensation, with Benito Santiago taking on Steve Garvey's Dodgers, led by Eric Davis. Join us for all the action following this one only on ESPN. And if you tuned in to see the Major League game, I hope you'll stay with us because you'll enjoy this. It's been fun here at the College World Series. There have been more comebacks and more dramatic games and plays than we've ever seen here in Omaha, and some outstanding baseball talent. Here's Jason Heath, just one of them, who was 2 for 2 tonight, 4 hits in the College World Series.
Sudden death tonight, Mike. The loser of this game goes home. That's why the intensity will pick up these last 3 innings and the anxiety. Heath and his Cowboys down by 4 runs. They need base runners, and now.
Last time up, Heath with a 400-foot double off the center field wall takes a called strike. 1-1.
This is not the system now. This is, you take a strike when you're down by as many runs as they are. Only do you go up swinging at the first pitch when you are the tying run.
Two and 1 to Jason Heath.
Talk about comebacks, Mike. Last night at Dodger Stadium, the Florida Marlins down, scored 3 in the 9th, came back against a hot Dodger team. So it happens even in the major leagues from time to time.
And they have to be congratulated for putting together an outstanding expansion team. Their player selection, just terrific. I mean, how many times have you seen an expansion team just be awful and have no chance? They're not.
Well, usually this is the settling in time where expansion teams really have a rough road, but lately the Marlins have picked up the pace a little bit, so it should be a good game tonight at Chavez Ravine.
Just missed, and Jay Vaught stares in at home plate umpire Tony Thompson. So Heath has been on every time up. And it will bring up Ernesto Rivera as we go to the top of the Cowboy order. Rivera 0 for 2 and a walk. Fly out and called out on strikes.
It's time for Ernesto Rivera's star to shine. Gary Ward puts a lot of emphasis on Rivera being the catalyst for this offense.
Down low, and we've got action in the Texas bullpen as Cliff Gustafson came out an inning ago to talk to Jay Vaught. And the big guy has taken him a long way, farther than a lot of people might have thought he would. Has him into the 7th inning right now, but is struggling a little bit with his control. That's 2-0.
There's a good example of a man tiring. He dropped down almost submarine that time. That tells me that he's saying, boy, it's tough to get that elbow up now. I'm starting to get a little tired. I got to drop down. Maybe I can get away with that tailing sidearm fastball or a little submarine pitch.
And Coach Gus is not occupying that special corner of the dugout where he normally sits. Look out. 3-0.
2 innings ago, that pitch was on the upper inside part of the strike zone. Now he's really laboring on the mound. He's had great command, great control, has gotten ahead of the hitters. But as you can see, that fastball is starting to tail too much now. It could be overthrowing, trying to compensate for what may be an arm that's tiring.
Well, he's thrown 112 pitches, and there's Coach Gus looking down toward the bullpen. 7 innings is the longest he's ever gone in his career. 6 1/3 tonight. So if he is tiring, it would be very understandable. The 3-0 is in there for a called strike.
And you knew that take sign was on that time. Those Cowboy hitters are disciplined. They didn't even have to look at Gary Ward that time. They know they're down by 4 and they need base runners, and then maybe one swing of the bat will tie it up. But for now, you got to get ducks on the pond, as they say.
Lost him. That's the 5th walk for Jay Vaught. Runners at first and second. And Gary Ward gives it a hum babe as Roberto Lopez will be coming up.
I had a feeling Cliff Gustafson was going to take a walk out there.
Yeah.
This is perfect timing to talk to 6-foot Jay Vaught, who's pitched an excellent game. Probably as good a game as he's pitched at the college level.
The book on Vaught is he has been outstanding in the playoffs and just struggled each regular season. And here comes center fit out of the Texas bullpen. And in contrast to the other night, Coach Gus is not going to wait very long with runners at first and second and 1 out here in the 7th. And the greeting for Jay Vaught, he'll get a nice hand, and deservedly so. Leaves allowing 1 run and stands to be the winning pitcher. We'll be back in a moment. Jay Vaught goes 6 1/3 innings and leaves with Texas leading Oklahoma State 5-1 here in the top of the 7th at the College World Series. Gave up only a run, responsible for the 2 men on, and this is Mark Centerfit. 3.09 ERA. This is his 15th game, 13 in relief. 26 strikeouts and 35 innings pitched. I always take a look at the hits in relation to innings pitched. Anything less than the number of innings pitched is pretty good.
One final thought on Jay Vaught, and we'll talk about him again, but as far as his performance tonight, a very gutty performance, maybe as good as some of the well-pitched games by starters such as Granger the other day. Did a great job.
Was Coach Gustafson said that's what he wanted.
1-5. He got 6.
Center fit misses to Roberto Lopez, who was 0 for 3, struck out twice, flied to center. Kieschnick would be the starter on Thursday. That's all they want to do, win tonight and survive for the hero to be on the mound. And center fit misses again.
Let me plant this thought in the minds of our viewers that in just looking at Kieschnick, if this game is tied 5-5, that man has a good chance of being on the mound, because this is sudden death tonight.
3-0.
3-0. Pitcher's got to have time to adjust to the mound. I think this is the first time that Mark Centerfit has taken the mound here.
Yeah, he's warmed up several times, but it's the first time he's gotten to see action.
And every mound is different. No matter what they say, they always say it's supposed to be 12 inches high. Don't believe it. They're all a little bit different soil composition. The hole dug in front of the rubber by different pitchers may not fit your toe.
There's Jerry Taylor with the ice bag on the shoulder. The report on him, in case you joined us late, not a separation, a pulled muscle. And he has been the hitting star of the College World Series. The 3-0 is in there. You saw Mark Loomis and Chad Smith down in the Texas bullpen. The runner at second is Jason Heath. Ernesto Rivera over at first. 1 gone here in the Cowboys' 7th. They're down 5-1. This is their best shot of the night. Base hit into left field. And they're going to send Heath.
There's run number 2. That's how you work the pitcher. At 3-1. Lopez got his pitch, a pitch he can pull right through the hole by the diving Henry. Let's take a look at this pitch. Up and in. perfect spot for Lopez. And now it's 5-2 Longhorns over Cowboys. Cowboys with runners on first and second.
Look who's in the bullpen. Brooks, Kiesnick. You said if it was 5-5. Well, he's getting ready for that maybe.
Center field hangs one pitch. It will be 5-5.
Because Sean Hugo is up with 12 home runs. Runners at first and second, one out, lefty against lefty. Hugo is a good hitter against left-handed pitchers. Gary Ward feels that this young man is the team leader, a sophomore from Oklahoma City, the most consistent hitter that he's got on the ball club.
Pitch him away. See,
strike two call.
They're not going to give him a fastball. They've slopped a couple of curves over. Center fit with a big overhand curveball. They don't want to give him a pitch that Sean Hugo can drive, especially in this situation. Hugo now has to say to himself, I've got to cover the plate. Might tail a fastball in.
Hit high to left. Here comes Larkin chasing it down the line. It may drop. It does. It's a fair ball. It's a no pitch. Nobody was running. No pitch. A ball had come out of the bullpen, and it looked like the third base umpire Bill LaRue had called time. The home plate umpire missed it. The pitch came in, and it's a base hit down the left field line. Do you believe that?
That wasn't a baseball. That was a shamrock for the Texas Longhorns, because that ball was lofted in the perfect spot. It would have driven in a run and would have advanced runners to at least second and third. Gary Ward saying, I can't believe that happened.
And Larkin did not get a good jump on the ball in left field. The outfield grass a little high, the ground a little heavy because of the rain we've had.
Sets up outside.
Missed with a breaking ball.
Sean Hugo can't say to himself, oh, I was robbed. What a bad break. He's got to refocus now, because he's got another shot. He's got to go to work. He's got to put the ball in play. This is a test for the sophomore. His ability to focus.
Line shot! Rivera around third. He'll score. Lopez on his way to third. They dig it out, and they're going to hold Lopez at third base. A double for Sean Hugo.
That's what we talked about, the complete player and the leader of this Cowboy team. He comes back and lines the ball down the left field line.
Well, it wouldn't have been a College World Series game without a comeback.
We told him, don't go away. Look at this. He hits the ball where it's pitched. Now it's bobbled. They scatter. Larkin gets the ball back in. But it's now 5-3 Longhorns.
A double and an RBI for Sean Hugo, and it will bring up more power in Peter Prodanov.
Ward's called Prodanov a big-time player.
Kiesnick warming up, scheduled to start on Thursday through a 172-pitch complete game the other night. Prodanov 1 for 3.
I'd bring him in now.
That'll get back in the stands off the right-hand side.
I know the philosophy is wait till the game's tied before you bring the big guy in. But Prodanov has got great power. He's hit the ball well. Big home run the other day. Hit the ball off the wall today. One swing now can put the Cowboys ahead.
That is the dilemma that coaches in the College World Series face. Here's your starter for Thursday night, warming in the bullpen. If you bring him in now and use him a couple of innings, he's gone for Thursday. Certainly as a starter.
This is sudden death. It doesn't matter if you don't win tonight.
Yeah.
You've got to get to Thursday, and then the coach should say, I'll think of something then. Maybe I can just get Kiesnick in to get the batter out and then get him out of there.
How big is that drop pop-up by Ocasio now that led in the 5th run?
This is going to tie the game.
Sean Hugo held up at second. They'll wave him in anyway, and he'll score. It's tied at 5.
Oh, my, what a job by the Cowboys. We talked talked about the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning. We talked about the system, wear out the opposing starter and then capitalize on it, and that's just exactly what they've done.
It's the Cardiac World Series. Everybody comes from behind. Prodanov just ripped it.
Prodanov doing what they do best, hitting the ball where it's pitched, and a line shot to right center. Lefty against righty. You got to salivate if you're Prodanov facing center field. That man's a player.
Isn't he ever? Texas, of course, had Wichita State come from behind after they had a big lead and beat them last night. You know it's got to be going through their mind right now that this can't happen to us again, can it?
I've been on teams exactly in the situation that the Longhorns are on. You have a tendency to all of a sudden have this adrenaline that you had with a 5-1 lead, and now it's like somebody's taking the wind out of you by hitting you in the stomach. And now you say to yourself, it's tied 5-5, 1 out. I don't want the ball hit to me. I don't want to make the mistake. Everybody's going to say, I lost the game for my team.
And I think the only reason that Mark Centerfoot is still in there is he's a left-hander against Sal Bando Jr., the left-hand batter.
It's the only reason.
Bando is 1 for 1. Walk, hit by a pitch, and single. Breaking ball in there. Well, that'll freeze a left-hander, won't it?
This is what I call a Ferris wheel of a curveball. Look at this. That's got to be about 52 miles an hour and just plops over. Bando's got to be patient now.
On that one, you've got time to hitch and then reset and take another shot at it.
Double clutch.
Centerfoot goes to first again. In case you joined us late, his father, Sal Bando Sr., here along with his mom down in the stands, very nervously watching their son in a pressure situation now.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bando went the other way. If you think about this inning, the key to the Cowboys hitting has been hitting the ball where it's pitched, hitting the ball the other way, being disciplined hitters.
1-1 to Bando. 1 gone, a runner at first, and a tie game.
Don't hang that curve.
Well, it hung, but where it couldn't hurt him.
See, if you start off with that big breaking curve, you're going to neutralize the opposing hitter. He's going to look for a fastball. But if you do it again, he's seen it already. So you don't want that same pitch in the same spot. Throw it away somewhere where he has to reach out to get it.
Bando with 12 home runs. Trying to keep Prodanov close, and Prodanov with 18 stolen bases coming into the College World Series. He got 1 the other night. He can run.
He's one of the only 2 guys that Ward will run with.
Doesn't have much of a lead over there, though. Strike call, 2-2. The Oklahoma State crowd, including Gary Ward, didn't like that.
They just keep getting a little wider and a little slower.
Tony Thompson, the home plate umpire, listened to Gary Ward for a little bit and then sort of flicked his hand at him like, go away, coach.
Okay, if you're Bando now, you have to say to yourself, 2 strikes. You've got to put the ball in play. Fastball pull, breaking ball hit the other way.
Breaking ball just missed.
That's 1.5 inches wider than the last one.
That's what pitchers will do. You give me the 1, 2 inches outside, I'll go 3 the next time.
3-2 now, 1 out. Do you run Prodanov? I do.
Bando has fanned 35 times, though.
You know why? Because I want to get that runner to second base. Because I want a chance to score this inning because Kieschnick might be coming in the next time.
There's a good point. This might be your shot, in other words.
This might be it. This may be the grand hurrah.
There's Kieschnick, who threw a 172-pitch complete game the other night, waiting in the Texas bullpen. High pop-up. Hartrider, it's short. 2 gone. And this will bring up the right-handed batter, Hunter Triplett, and that's exactly what Coach Gus wanted, because he's gone out to the mound for center field. He left him in against the left-hander.
Tough situation for Bando that time. Big, powerful-looking young left-handed hitter, and all he wants to do is get some kind of pitch to drive, and he gets slop curveballs, and it's tough to wait on it. And he waited well that time, but just got under it.
We've got a pitching change. We'll be back to Omaha in a moment. Tied at 5 in the top of the 7th. Oklahoma State, the 3rd team in the College World Series to overcome a 5-run deficit. And this is the new pitcher, Chad Smith, the sophomore from Austin, Texas. His first College World Series game. There are his numbers on the year. Couple of saves, only 45 hits and 53 innings pitched, and 46 strikeouts. There's Tommy Harmon, the pitching coach, and he hasn't liked what he's seen out of the bullpen. They have really struggled.
He's smiling for some reason. I don't know if I could.
So they don't bring in Kieschnick. You get the feeling that if Bando had reached, Kieschnick would have come in. But they're doing everything they can to save him.
He's not warming up to be a decoy.
No. Hunter Triplett will come to the plate. 4 hits in 8 trips in the College World Series.
Hunter Triplett with a good line drive single the last time up.
On the corner, Major League Baseball will follow our telecast. Triplett, you see, hitting .305 for the season. Spent much of the year hitting under .200, but he has really played well. At the end of the year, they made an adjustment in the way he hits with his leg action. This one's off the fist, back out of play. The wind not as much of a factor right now. It looks like it's only blowing 5 to 10 miles an hour. Start of the game, it was 20, and anything up in the air got out of here to right field in a hurry.
0-2 count, 2 outs. Triplett's got to cover the plate. They're going to pitch him outside.
Missed with a fastball. 1 and 2. 2 outs, a runner at first, and a 5-5 tie. 4 runs for Oklahoma State here in the top of the 7th. The typical Gary Ward ball game. Make the pitcher work a lot, get him to go to the bullpen, and get him late. He's done it year after year. Fastball, fouled off.
Triplett doing a good job of protecting the plate, being down 1 ball, 2 strikes. Got to hit the ball where it's pitched. The Cowboys have done an excellent job this inning of doing that. That's why they have 4 runs. That's why the score is 5-5 in the top of the 7th. Spot another fastball out there.
Good. Breaking pitch got him swinging. Hunter Triplett goes down, but the Cowboys get 4 to tie it up. That's LSU head coach Skip Bertman doing a little homework earlier today, watching some tape of a previous game, scouting an opponent. And our College World Series coverage continues tomorrow afternoon as the Tigers of LSU, who are undefeated in their bracket, take on Long Beach State, who beat Texas A&M in an elimination game earlier today. It's another outstanding matchup tomorrow at 4 on ESPN. Tim Brando and Freddie Lynn, along with Larry Conley, will bring you that ball game.
Like this first game of our doubleheader, the second one being at that ballpark in Los Angeles between Florida and Los Angeles. That game is not going to get any more exciting than this one, because this has been a tremendous game in which the system of Oklahoma State has waited out Texas. They gave them a run. They gave Texas their 5th run with an error. But their whole philosophy was to make the starting Texas Longhorn pitcher wear himself out. Once he did that, they capitalized on it, and it's 5-5.
Stephen Larkin, 1 for 3, will lead it off. Called strike from Jason Bell, the freshman from Orlando, Florida. Larkin has had some key hits in this series, 4 overall. Got him to swing a breaking ball.
See what happens with Steve Larkin is that when there are runners on base, he really focuses in. He has vision instead of just sight. When he leads off, he has a tendency to be much more of a free swinger.
Well, you've said since the beginning of the College World Series he has had a flair for the dramatic, especially as a pinch hitter. Had 2 grand slams this year. 1 came as a pinch hitter. And he only hit 5 home runs all year.
Set up inside.
Chop towards second. In between Hopper Lopez, and they'll throw him out. The momentum has really gone back and forth in this ball game. It is such an emotional setting in an elimination game.
You can see it in just the way the Cowboy infield is bouncing around now. Just the way they throw the ball around after an out. Last inning, they were just kind of tossing it lackadaisical. They were down. Now there's that spring in their step and in their arms.
Williamson comes up 2 for 2 as a run scored and a double. You know who the happiest guy in the entire field is? Shortstop Fred Ocasio, who dropped the pop-up that allowed Texas to get its 5th run.
Because now it's 0-0 again.
Yep.
All the mistakes, all the hits, everything had been a wash. Now it's the bottom of the 7th at 0-0. The whole season comes down to the next 2.5 innings.
Williamson was involved in a key play. Remember, he was thrown out at the plate on a great throw by Thad Chadrick. It would have been the 6th Texas run. Screamer to left for a base hit for Joel Williamson. Boy, has he been a good-looking hitter in this series. Let's check in with Larry Conley. Larry?
You know, Mike, I've had an opportunity the last couple of innings to really sit beside both dugouts and kind of observe. You know, it's interesting for Texas on their end of it. There is no panic in here. Concern, yes, but no panic. I think they know they've got their secretariat waiting in the wings. But on the other side, Oklahoma State, that very controlled way that Gary Ward has with his club, very evident. Even when they were getting those 4 runs to tie this game up, there was no great emotion. They just simply said, what do you expect?
They expect exactly what happened.
And that goes back to the Ward philosophy. Concentration and relaxation. That's the only way you can perform up to your level of ability.
Ward, a very analytical, cerebral coach who believes in certain theories very devoutly. This is Harkrider, who had a 2-run home run. Takes it low from Jason Bell.
Still my favorite line from Gary Ward, linear flow.
Which you have yet to explain.
I will. The game's too close tonight. That's something that takes time.
Yes.
It takes a 10-1 game.
My favorite line was when he was talking about coaching during a game being overrated. He says it's practice time. Another coach, he says during a game you just stand there in third and say hum baby and scratch yourself.
He's coached basketball. He would rather be on the sidelines at a basketball game because he could then really be hands-on, close to the action. I mean, he ended up in baseball and he loves it, but he would like to be on the sidelines a la Pat Riley as the puppeteer of a basketball game.
This one's fouled out of play. I wouldn't mind being on the sidelines if I had Michael Jordan out there.
Amazing how good a coach you are with great talent.
No kidding.
Double play ball right here. Here you go.
But the great coaches have a little bit better than average talent and make the talent good and great.
1-2 to Harkrider. A runner at first and a man out in the bottom half of the 7th. And Bell will go to first. And that was no slap at Phil Jackson, by the way, who has done a brilliant job.
But he's had a good guy to build around.
Yeah. Just got a piece. And that was off the meat hand of Jason Heath, the catcher. It's interesting, when catchers get hit, they get no sympathy. It's like you look at a catcher and say, look, when you were 10 years old and somebody got you to put that stuff on in the first place, what did you expect?
That's why those poor guys get that nickname, backstop. Look at the nick. Nick on his elbow there. He got that tonight. He was in good shape. His hand's been bothering him. He got a foul tip in the hand. Very interesting chest protector. We'll try to focus on that in a second. It looks like real high-tech NASA-type chest protector. Probably very light, perforated. Like the dimples on a golf ball. That's there for a reason. I'm quite sure that those little slits right there for a reason. That's what makes it lighter, I'm quite sure. And the little round parts near the shoulder, that's for foul tips in that area. I wish they wear a throat protector, though.
Yeah, how many times have you seen that?
I've seen the throat protectors designed by Bill Bueller, the trainer of the Dodgers, and copied many times, save a lot of Adam's apples and a lot of throat injuries.
Harkrider hanging in there, has the count at 2-2. Breaking pitch, fouled off again. So the Texas hitters, especially Harkrider, doing the kind of job that Gary Ward expects out of his Oklahoma State players, to hang in there, get as many foul balls as you can till you find one you can hit.
Jason Bell, a freshman out of Orlando, Florida. He's got a good young arm. Good motion, good velocity.
Hit wide of second into right. Williamson will stop at second as Chadwick charged hard from right field. And on this field, that's what the outfielders have to do. The grass a little high, and if you don't come racing in, they can take an extra base on you.
You'll only see chances taken now with a runner coming from second to home. Very rarely will you see these two coaches take a chance on a runner going from first to third.
Lopez gave it everything he had at second base, but couldn't flag it down.
A solid defensive player. He makes a great effort and try. Gives it 100%. Just can't quite catch up with it.
Runners at first and second. One gone for Marcus Hendry. Hendry 1 for 3. Single to right, but that was the play where Williamson was thrown out at the plate on the dart from Chadwick.
Marcus Hendry, wouldn't this be a great story, Mike? Here's a young man who is playing because of his defense. Gustafson needed a solid defensive player at the other corner. He's got one in Hickman. He said any offense would be a plus, and now he's got a chance to drive in the go-ahead run.
Outside. He's a kid who started only 8 games all year long. Then they got to the regionals of the NCAA. He was installed as the starting third baseman, played there all 4 games, has been the starter all the way in the College World Series.
Now, you can't imagine how much better a player he'll be if he singles right now.
Oh, yeah. Confidence level will go up about 200 points, won't it?
At least. There's always a pivotal point in our lives, in our careers, in our sports that takes us to another level.
The same could be said of freshman Jason Bell, the pitcher. Hit high in the air to left center field. Sean Hugo is there. Williamson tags at second but has to go back. So Bell gets the second out. And it's up to Jeff Conway with 2 out and 2 on in the Texas 7th after Oklahoma State got 4 in the top of the 7th to tie it. Conway, the last 3 times up, has flown to straightaway center field to Prodenall.
The reason for that is Conway coming off a separated shoulder. I think he really can't snap the bat. He has a tendency to sweep it because of that separated shoulder. Best place for him is to hit the ball the opposite way to left field.
Slapped that one foul at his feet. Here's another kid who had played most of the year because of his defense, only hitting .244 coming into tonight's game.
Made some great catches this year for Texas.
It's the new scoreboard here at Rosenblatt Stadium, a complex that's been improved every year that we've been coming to Omaha. Straight call. And Bell one pitch away from getting out of a jam.
But that one pitch has been very, very difficult to achieve most of this World Series. Pitchers have been so close. Many of them are at home now watching this World Series. Toughest thing to do here is to close out a hitter.
Big moment for a freshman. Only his 14th game as a pitcher all year. Got him swinging. Texas strands a pair. We've played 7 full, and it's even. Top of the 8th in the College World Series in Omaha. Oklahoma State and Texas tied at 5. Coming up on Thursday, the winner of this game, either Oklahoma State or Texas, will face unbeaten Wichita State. The Shockers getting a couple of days off. They'll get it going Thursday night at 7:30. Gene Stephenson's club undefeated. They have been the comeback story here in Omaha, and it should be another great one this Thursday night only on ESPN. 7:30 start. First round, Wichita State beats Arizona State in extra innings. Then they come from behind and beat Texas 7-6 in the second round. This is the result of the entire bracket. We have had one comeback after another in the College World Series.
This has been a pleasure to comment on. These teams in this bracket have battled each other back and forth, and this game is an example of 2 quality programs, 2 rivals going at each other.
Thad Chadwick comes up 0 for 3. He's done it with his arm tonight. Threw out a runner at the plate. What bad hats are in this year, aren't they?
Well, it's gone from white to vanilla. Obviously, white hats are tough to keep clean.
2-0 to Thad Chadwick from Bridge City, Texas.
He's got some room in those shoes. Those feet were moving around in those shoes there. We got to get him a size that fits. If he gets them out, they'll get him one.
Those may be family heirlooms.
Chadwick taking a pitch, obviously. Barry Ward wanting to work the pitcher, Chad Smith.
Hit foul down the left field line, 2-2. Chadwick, another guy with some power, has 9 home runs this year. Was leading the Big 8 in batting early in the season before he had an ankle injury. Really threw off his rhythm. Still came into the College World Series hitting over 330. Pretty good indication of what kind of hitter he is. Outside, full count from Chad Smith to Thad Chadwick.
Like, the problem with bad ankles is, especially when you're hitting, you either can't put enough weight on the back foot, so you eventually shift your weight too much forward, or if it's your front foot, you're really a ginger on it and you don't get the hips through.
Goes after the high fastball, chops it up the middle. Heinrich behind second and throws him out.
Nice job by Braxton Hickman, digging the ball out of the dirt to smooth left-handed first baseman. Tall. I say that with a tear in my eye.
Not the smooth part.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this good pitch that was hit to second base. Plants and then throws the ball down. Hickman picks it up above the dirt, does a nice job.
Ocasio, who is 0 for 3, the junior out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico. He struggled in the College World Series, but was hitting .500 in the playoffs coming in.
He's a spray hitter. I wouldn't be surprised to see him shoot the ball to right field. If he hits in the right spot, he's got a little speed. He can turn that into a double or triple.
1-1.
Catcher sets up outside.
Too low. 2-1. We sure haven't had many runners or many hitters trying to bunt for base hits.
Now that's not in the arsenal of either one of these two teams.
Jammed and took a defensive swing and popped it back.
The problem for Oklahoma State is they take a strike, so now you only got 2 left, so you really can't afford to foul off a bunt because now you'll have 2 strikes and no balls. So the whole system isn't set up for bunters.
Got used to seeing Miami here. Lay it down, lay it down, lay it down, and this is a perfect field with that new sod in front of home plate. Airmailed to the backstop.
That takes a pretty high pitch to hit that unbreakable glass behind home plate and ricochet back. Chad Smith a little high on his release point that time. Adrenaline flowing. Both Ocasio and Smith.
Wasted a breaking ball. Count hangs at 3-2. 1 out, nobody on. Here in the Oklahoma State 8th inning. And Brooks Kieschnick back in the dugout. Had him up warming in case they had to have the guy come in maybe with the bases loaded and get out of a jam.
You know, I'm not so sure that wasn't the best thing for Kieschnick because, as we said, he's a better hitter when he pitches. Now he went down to the bullpen, got the blood flowing, started to get his game face on. He might be ready for that next at bat.
Ocasio goes after the breaking pitch and doesn't get it.
Great pitch by Chad Smith. Slider low and away on the black. He's proud of himself because he knew he threw the perfect pitch to Ocasio. Look at that pitch. Oh. Ocasio can't touch that pitch because he's trying to pull the ball. Almost falls down. 2 away. Top of the 8th.
And here's the dangerous Jason Heath, who came on as a pinch hitter for Grinstead and is 2 for 2, a single, a double, and a walk. And is 4 for 9 in the College World Series, and he was the hitting star against Arizona, a team that knows something about hitting and had 2 home runs in the final game. He has a team leading 13.
Okay, the system says you're going to take a pitch to get a look at this guy that you haven't faced before. On the other hand, it's the top of the 8th. You've got a power hitter up. Good chance of Smith starting out with a fastball. And what does he do? He throws a fastball down the middle, and you got the take sign, and you stay within the system because it works.
Breaking pitch too high. 2-1.
Smith a little bit all over the plate right now. High fastball up and in to Heath. Now a breaking ball too far in. Starting to have a little problem with his release point.
Missed downstairs. 3-1.
Yeah, this is a Cowboy hitting situation now. 3-1. Heath has seen the fastball, he's seen the slider, he's seen the curveball. He's got to keep that shoulder closed and try to drive it up the middle.
Here's the 3-1. Whoa.
It's only a matter of time before Smith hits somebody with that tailing fastball. Just Smith missed Heath on the second pitch in this at bat. Let's take a look at this running fastball. Really right at him. That ball was just aimed right at him. That was a waste pitch that got him.
So we go to the top of the order.
Don't rub it. You can touch it, but don't rub it.
Wonder who started that. It hurts.
Some big guy.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody with thick skin.
Lots of fat.
Or somebody who never got hit.
That's right.
Ernesto Rivera 0 for 2. Got 4 guys plunked in this game, 2 for each team.
We're not going to beat you. We're going to hurt you. We're going to soften you up for next year. Rivera, one of the few guys on this Cowboy team that can consistently hit for power, was definitely going that time for the fences.
Gary Ward passing along a little advice after that with a little wry smile on his face. This kid, even as the leadoff hitter, is a great RBI man, has 60 this year. And the little bulldog described by Gary Ward.
That smile was, he was saying, you know, when you pull your head and your shoulder and your foot out, it's very difficult to hit the ball along with your eyes.
Fastball too low. Chad Smith is a pitcher who started off like gangbusters. The first 5 games, he had a 0.82 ERA. Then after 10 games, it was still under 2. And he has been clobbered lately, but has turned in an excellent performance here in relief in the College World Series.
Ball's been really moving at the plate. Obviously, by hitting Heath, we could see that fastball really just running away, running up and in and catching him on the back of the shoulder. Rivera's an RBI mentality at the plate, so he wants to drive this ball.
Chops it off the right side, but it's foul. 2-2. Heath down at first with 2 out. We're in the Oklahoma State 8th inning, tied at 5. Mike Patrick, Steve Garvey, and Larry Connolly with you from the College World Series in Omaha. Major League Baseball follows our telecast.
I'd like to see a ball hitting the gap now. I'd like to see Heath try to score on one. I'd like to see Ward waving him around, and I'd like to see it, that the play at the plate. That's what this World Series is all about. We've had some great plays at home plate.
Gary Ward would like to see it too. Too high. Count is full, and that's a break for Oklahoma State because Heath will be able to run on the pitch.
We're talking about a ball now that doesn't have to reach the fence with this situation. 2 out, 3-2 is the count. The runner will take a short lead, and he will be off as the pitcher delivers home.
Chad Smith has gone to 3 balls on all 4 hitters this inning. Heath goes, driven to center field. Prather got there in a hurry, got a nice jump and cut it off. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 5. Thank you very much. And boy, that looks nasty.
You need an arc at that clubhouse right there.
Sir.
That is something. Those are rainouts.
Skip Sharp is the new catcher as you look at Cliff Gustafson, who wants something started here in the bottom of the 8th for his Texas Longhorns. Sharp and Heath moves to right for Chadrick. So Chadrick, who had had that outstanding defensive play, is replaced in right. And Skip Sharp, their best defensive catcher and their 4th catcher on the roster, is in the ball game. Heinrich, Kieschnick, and Hickman, the 2, 3, 4 men in the order. So you have to figure if Texas is going to get Oklahoma State offensively, this would be the inning. And Kieschnick, 1 for 2, walked twice, single, or excuse me, Heinrich.
Good leadoff man.
Single and struck out.
Good man to start off this inning for Texas. He's got a couple of walks, a single, good discipline at the plate. Going to force Jason Bell to throw strikes.
He is 5 for 11 batting in the College World Series, and the rally caps are out.
See that chain around his neck, Mike, right there?
Yep.
Professional baseball, you're not allowed to have exposed metal like that. It's a distraction to the hitters. Observation. And as a hitter, I'd stop the game. Yep, gotta have him put it in for psychological reasons too.
Yeah.
Have him do something that he doesn't want to do.
Well, I know pitchers who would be out there with a Mr. T starter set if they thought it would distract somebody.
That's right. Little beanies with little flippers on them.
Jason Bell has looked pretty good coming out of the bullpen, but he issues the walk there. And it sets the table for Brooks Kieschnick. He has really gone after some pitches that he could very reasonably hit tonight and popped them up to left field.
I think everything is in Brooks Kieschnick's power right now, simply because he's got a fellow who threw 4 balls, none of them close, to Heinrich, hitting before Brooks. Now Kieschnick, who we feel is a much better player when he's into the game, warmed up just an inning or so ago, so he's got the blood flowing. He had his game face on. Now he's hitting up there in a good hitting situation for him.
And Gary Ward looking down toward the bullpen. He has Hogue and Geico warming up down there. Hogue, the left-hander, has been sensational in the College World Series coming out of the bullpen. He has really shut people down. And if he's ready, you'd think they'd like to have him against the left-hander Kieschnick.
You got to go with a lefty against Kieschnick. You got to, at least in theory, go lefty against lefty.
And we do have a pitching change. We'll check it out for you when we come back. Bottom of the 8th, 5-5, and the respect for the hitting ability of that man, Brooks Kieschnick, has dictated a pitching change. And they will go with Jay Hogue, who has been outstanding in relief. 2 games. He won 1 of them, has gone 5 innings, allowed only 2 hits, no runs, struck out 3. He has walked 5, but any jams he created because of that, he's gotten out of. And Gary Ward was just chuckling at the mention of his name this morning.
This is a classic confrontation between the 1993 Collegiate Player of the Year, Brooks Kieschnick, and one of the best left-handers in college baseball.
Hogue is 6'3", 222. Kieschnick 6'4", 228. 2 big guys going after each other. Hasn't hit one since April 25th. And Steve, he had a couple of pitches tonight. I thought he had a chance to ride out of here.
Tried to pull him too much and really left the bat back, too much of an arm swing, and fly out to left a couple times.
And Hogue with the throw over to first to keep Heinrich close, who has 6 stolen bases this year.
Kieschnick has to focus on hitting the ball up the middle. Because Hogue's going to work on the outside half of the plate. Catcher sets up out there.
Got him way out in front of a breaking ball. Take that.
Remember the 3 keys: plane, location, and speed. This was a good curveball. Too much up, and the speed really threw Kieschnick off.
You can lose a shoulder joint on one of those.
Just like Taylor did before. Okay, now he's got to shorten up the swing. Now he's got to put it in play. Can't think about the home run.
Sidearmed him and got it.
Classic confrontation. The great lefty against the great lefty, and Hogue wins. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitchers count. Now he really wastes his slider, and Kieschnick goes after it. Can't even touch it.
Boy, he just mowed him down, didn't he? And Braxton Hickman, another left-hander, is next. Gary Ward trying to push all the right buttons here. Hickman is 0 for 2, a pair of walks. Breaking ball inside. Now with another left-hander up, do you think of doing anything with Heinrich at first?
I don't think so. I think you have Braxton Hickman up, who is a very good hitter, and I think Hickman probably thinks more up the middle and the other way than Kieschnick would. So this probably is a better hitter against Hogue.
Got the low breaking ball in there, 1-1.
This is the bottom of the 8th in a tie game. This is sudden death. You got to go up there swinging the bat. If you get a strike to hit, Hogue's not going to give you too many strikes. So you've got to be ready, close that shoulder, and hit the ball where it's pitched.
Hickman leads the team with hits. He has 97 hits in 66 ball games, approaching that magical 100 mark. And Mark Prather is on deck. Remember, they lost Taylor to a shoulder injury, and he has been the big hitter for this ball club, so they feel his absence now. 2-1 to Hickman.
8 game-winning RBIs. He's been a clutch hitter for the Longhorns.
There goes the runner, and Heinrich stole it.
Emotions riding high. And Gary Ward's going to come out now and talk to the umpire, Bill LaRue. In his 17th year, he's called a few games before.
Gary Ward says when he goes to talk to an umpire, all he wants to do is engage him in a conversation, not berate him, just let him know where he stands. Take a look at the play.
Let's take a look at a good jump by Heinrich and a good throw.
Ooh.
Well, I think he gets him on the arm from there. He tags him here, and then his leg went up and over the bag, and I think he threw him out.
Boy, it sure looks like it.
Let's
Watch
take a look at
this.
This is the angle. Let's take a look. Tags him. He's not even close to the bag.
Boy, Gary Ward had a legitimate beef. But Heinrich is down to second in scoring position. Good pitch to run onto. Slow breaking ball.
It was.
So the stolen base sets up the potential go-ahead run. And the umpire at home plate, Tony Thompson, had the strap on his mask break. That's why Hogue is getting some warm-up tosses in.
We can see why Skip Sharp is the best defensive catcher for the Cowboys. Got rid of it quick. Good release right on the money.
Major League Baseball following our telecast. Most of you will get a chance to see Steve Garvey's Dodgers against the Florida Marlins, and Keishnick not very happy about his hitting performance tonight.
Wasn't disciplined tonight. Really had a chance to really break the game open and didn't capitalize on it.
Scoreboard count is wrong. It shows 3-1. It's 2-2.
Outside again. Slider.
Hit right back to the mound. Hogue checks the runner and throws him out. Boy, Hogue has looked terrific in the College World Series. 5 2/3 innings. 2 hits. And he's just been in total command. And he just got 2 real good hitters.
Obviously, he knows how to pitch, especially to left-handed hitters. And that's why Hogue is going to be a good professional pitcher.
And they'll hit for Mark Prather. Texas 2 out of 15 with runners in scoring position. So Prather will come out of the ball game, and Chad Blessing will come up. He was a pinch hitter in an earlier game in the College World Series, 0 for 1. And this is the spot where Taylor would normally hit. And they are going to walk Blessing to set up a force play and bring up another left-hander, Stephen Larkin.
Well, they would have done the same thing to Jerry Taylor, and they would have thought of it much quicker.
Yeah.
And now this puts Steve Larkin to the plate in a crucial situation with a runner in scoring position, and this makes him a better hitter. We've talked before, if he hits leading off an inning or with nobody on, I don't think he's as good a hitter. He has a tendency to have a bigger strike zone, swing at bad pitches. But now he's going to have to face one of the toughest left-handers in college baseball, and I think he's going to zero in, and I think he'll make contact.
Larkin 1 for 4 tonight, an RBI double. Drove in Taylor, later scored himself in the 3rd inning.
Already with an RBI tonight.
2 out, 2 on. Bottom of the 8th, tie game, College World Series elimination game. Tough breaking ball for a left-hander, but too low.
Interesting opening pitch to Larkin. He obviously knows that Larkin's a good fastball hitter.
Infielders deep. Ground ball. If nothing else, they need to knock it down to save the run. Breaking ball hung inside. 2-0 to Larkin.
Interesting selection. This time a slop curve to go along with a little wasted curve low.
Joel Williamson, the catcher, is the man on deck, and he has been ringing shots all over this place in the College World Series. So Hogue wants to get Larkin.
Hoag's got to come in.
Got him swinging at a 2-0 breaking ball.
Another curveball by Hoag. This time a good breaker down out of the strike zone, and Larkin, feeling it's a hitter's count, saw it, took a good swing at it. No contact.
Well, Hoag looks like a relief pitcher, doesn't he?
He does. He's got the eyes. He's focused on that mitt.
Another breaking pitch, foul away, 2-2. A steady diet of curveballs.
This is baseball chess at its finest. What will he throw? Where will he throw it? What kind of speed?
Four straight breaking balls.
Sets up again.
But that fastball, after those 4 curves, looked a little faster, didn't it?
It does. It's 4 or 5 miles per hour faster than normal, just in perception.
That was 82. It looked 90.
That's where we talk about the contrast between the breaking ball and the fastball. 82-mile-an-hour fastball contrasted to about a 72-mile-an-hour curveball.
Full count to Larkin. Missed inside with a breaking ball, and they are loaded for Joel Williamson.
He wasn't going to give Larkin a good pitch to hit, and he didn't. On 3-2, he throws a roundhouse curveball that breaks too much inside. He wanted it. He didn't get it.
Williamson comes up 3 for 3. Hit a double, the best shot of the night, over Prodonov's head in center field. And that's going to be all for Jay Hoag. So Hoag came in and got the 2 toughest guys, Kieschnick and Hickman, the left-handers, but the bases loaded now. Back in a minute. Still tied at 5, bottom of the 8th of the College World Series in Omaha, Oklahoma State and Texas, and our coverage will continue tomorrow afternoon as the Tigers of LSU, 2-0 and undefeated in their bracket, take on Long Beach State. The Dirtbags, 2-1. They beat Texas A&M in the elimination game earlier today. And another outstanding matchup coming your way at 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. And if you just joined us, you haven't watched any of our college series coverage, Long Beach State official nickname is the 49ers. Dirtbags is theirs.
49ers, a.k.a. Dirtbags, and they've lived up to their name because they've scratched and clawed their way back to another victory, putting them in the final game.
Here's Rob Geico with his 2nd College World Series relief appearance. 1 hit, no runs, struck out a man. So Geico has done the job out of the bullpen, along with the big left-hander. Williamson has hit the ball hard tonight. He is 6 for 10 in the College World Series, hitting .600.
This could be the greatest game of his career. I've seen this happen before, where a young man really puts it together, starts off. Tonight he got hit by a pitch, then a double, then a single, then another single.
Strike called on the inside corner at the thighs, 1-1. The sacks are full of Longhorns. Heinrich. Larkin over at first. Blessing down at second. They've got him picked off third. And they'll call a ball. Holy cow. A ball called on Geico.
That's where trick play really can be effective at this level.
Heinrich came down the line, and Gary Ward is going to go out and beef about this one to third base umpire Tom Jenkins.
He's going to let him have it. This is just not a conversation.
No.
He's going to let him know. Now he's saying, well, it was my decision. I thought he balked. I thought he went to home and then came over.
Boy, and Gary Ward is unloading on the umpire.
He's telling me, you've been here before. You can't make that call. You don't know what you're doing. You can't call a balk in that situation.
Heinrich precipitated it as he started down the line at third. And it's nose to nose. Or chin to chin.
Let's set up the sequence for you. Heinrich's on third. Classic college play. Might as well give it a try. Watch Heinrich lead off. Now he starts to go, and the pitcher steps and throws.
Watch Geico.
Geico steps off and throws to third base.
Did you
Where
see
is it?
He stepped off.
Where is the balk?
That's what he wants to know, and that's what Gary Ward wants to know.
In order to step back, you do have to lift up a little bit, so that's not a movement towards home plate.
Well, to be very honest with you, I couldn't see it. Now the ball's chopped up the middle. They'll go to first, but the damage is done. The balk brings in the 6th run of the inning, and Texas leads by 1 going to the 9th.
ESPN's presentation of the 1993 College World Series is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when, and by Word Perfect.
Bizarre occurrences here at the College World Series as we go to the top of the 9th. Texas scored without benefit of a hit. The big play was a balk call. Let's see if anybody can pick up what Geico did that may have been called a balk. You got to watch his feet.
Watch his back foot. The only thing I can see is that his knee buckled, and that's how they called the balk. The stagger coming back. Now you're going to see Gary Ward's reaction right there.
That's pitching coach Tom Holliday between innings, who went out to go after third base umpire Tom Jenkins. They are just livid in the Oklahoma State dugout. There is equipment flying all over the place in there.
This could be one of the great controversies of not only this World Series, but many World Series.
And Brooks Kieschnick has come on to relieve after throwing a 172-pitch complete game against Oklahoma State Saturday night. Well, crank up the excitement button. We're up to about 10 by now. Roberto Lopez leads it off. The heart of the order, Lopez, Hugo, and Prodanov. Each has had at least one hit.
Kieschnick starts out the way he ended the other evening, tailing fastball.
Boy, they'll be talking about this one for years to come. Strike called. Kenny Tipton, the new center fielder, and playing a very shallow center field against Roberto Lopez. Inside, 1 and 2, a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. You don't know how many of them he's got in the arm after 172 pitches Saturday night.
All he's got to get is 3 outs.
Hits a straightaway center. Tipton was in shallow. He's trying to chase it down, and he got back.
Wow, almost that time. Almost played him too shallow. That ball almost got over his head. Wow.
Well, you'd have to say Coach Gus pressing the right buttons. You got a kid in center field in the big ballpark who can really run. Lopez hit it hard, but Tipton chased it down. That'll bring up Sean Hugo.
Did a great job of hitting last time. Hugo, a big double last time to get the Cowboys back in the game. There he is, the College Player of the Year.
There it goes. Is it going to stay there? Is it going to stay? It's in the home
Sean Hugo with the biggest home run of his young life. Can you believe that? Against the College Player of the Year. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball that he turned on and splits the screen down the right field line. We're all tied 6-6.
Came in at 92, went out at about 120.
That's the way it goes. Hugo, the star of the rally a few innings ago.
And Brooks Kieschnick was yelling at Gary Ward, who ran toward the dugout. He's telling his team to get back in there. And he is telling them emphatically to get back in there. And Cliff Gustafson came out of the Texas dugout saying he wanted him back in there. Anybody goes by Kieschnick is going to get an earful.
Ward going over there telling him, remember the system, discipline. Watch this fastball, 92. Hugo turns on it.
Good night.
He knows it's gone. Is it fair or foul? It hits the screen. What a great job of hitting.
And here is Prodanov, who homered the last game against Kieschnick. And they got into a jawing match. We're tied at 6 in the ninth. What a ball game.
You gotta love it. College baseball at its finest.
Watch Kieschnick as he saw the home run. Yeah.
Oh my. This is deja vu. I've done this before.
Check this swing. No signal on the appeal. 0-2.
It's a big confrontation now. Prodanov and Kieschnick.
1-2.
The adrenaline's flowing at Rosenblatt Stadium. This is sudden death elimination. Both teams have lost once.
Strike 3 called, and Prodanov beefs about that. Turns around and gives the home plate umpire Tony Thompson an earful.
Well, he's mad, but you can't put the game into the umpire's hands. You got to go out there and throw and hit and run.
Well, you saw Williamson move that back across the plate.
He framed it. He brought it back.
And now they are going to get the Oklahoma State coaches are going to be talked to by the umpires.
I've seen it happen many a time. A controversial call this late in a big game. Emotions are going to flare. A coach has to be concerned about one thing, and that's keeping his players in the game first. That's why Gary Ward went over, talked to his team. He told them concentration, discipline.
You know, the umpires have been really good all week about taking heat from people without throwing anyone out, but there's a limit even under circumstances like this, and you're not deep enough to have players thrown out. This is Sal Bando Jr.
The game is played by human beings, and it's umpired by human beings.
And for the most part, they've done a tremendous job this week.
But you can't push somebody too far, and they're only going to react and come back at you. And the best way an umpire can do it is throw somebody out of the game, and that person could be the key man in the game, whether it's a coach or a player or a head coach.
And if you get thrown out in college baseball, you are also out for the next one. So it is a double penalty and a double stupid mistake to let it happen to you.
The team that wins is the team that's going to have the most players who stay within themselves now. Don't get caught up with all the excitement and the fury.
Now we're in the top of the ninth, now tied at 6, Texas and Oklahoma State. After a controversial balk call in the bottom of the 8th put Texas ahead, Oklahoma State has come back to tie it up in the ninth. And this College World Series has been nothing but comebacks. Walked it. So Bando, the potential lead run is on for Hunter Triplett. I am corrected. The one-game suspension after you've been thrown out is only for fighting, not what we have seen in the last couple of innings.
Another chess move.
And David Pruitt goes in as the pinch runner for Sal Bando.
We've seen everything in this game.
Triplett, 1 for 4, an RBI. Straight call.
The only way Triplett's going to hit Kieschnick is if he closes that shoulder and thinks up the middle the other way. He's pulling out. The only pitch he can hit's an inside pitch. That ball's
Center field. Tipton going back. That's in there.
one run will score.
Pruitt is around third. He'll score standing up. And Oklahoma State takes the lead.
Can you believe this comeback? Denied by a balk call that put Texas ahead. The Cowboys have come back to score 2 runs and take the lead. You can't celebrate too much. You got to go out there on defense. They've got to stay within themselves.
And Kieschnick has got to work on Thad Chadwick.
Look at this fastball. The only pitch you can hit is over the plate. Little hanging slider. Tough ball for the center fielder to catch. Hit directly over his head. It's at about 400 feet, and then bites.
Well, the first one hit the dead center in this inning with Kenny Tipton out there. Looked like it would get over his head. He chased it down. This one went all the way to the wall and gets the lead run home. 7-6 in the 9th. And Skip Sharp, the 4th catcher for Oklahoma State, is the next man up. He's hitting .261, and Gary Ward is telling him what he wants to do. I guess with 2 outs, he's telling him he wants to get a base hit.
I think it's pretty rudimentary. Can you imagine if this was a championship game? This would be one of the great championship games of all time. As it is, it's one of the great College World Series games of all time.
Well, we've seen one after another. This has been the most remarkable series since I've been coming to Omaha. Every game is close. Every game has come from behind.
But every good game needs a little controversy, and that's what we've had.
Well, we got it now. Sharp takes the first pitch high. So Kieschnick, on in relief, has given up a home run in the double here in the 9th after the brilliant 172-pitch complete game effort the other night.
Going for his defense. Skip Sharp needs a big hit.
Called strike 1-1.
Kieschnick letting up a tremendous home run down the line, and then a 400-foot double to center. Got to compose himself and get this batter out.
Hit toward the hole. Cut off by the shortstop. Goes to third. It was his only play and didn't get it. Smart play by Harkrider. He had no chance to get Sharp at first. Went to third trying to cut down Triplett and almost had him.
And Tom Jenkins, the umpire at third base, who made the controversial call, makes a good call at third base. Harkrider does a good job. The only man he can get. Now watch the slide. The leg comes in, touches the bag, then the tag. He's safe. Watch this angle from third base. Ward's getting him down. He's trying to get out of the way. He's safe.
It's ruled a base hit. And brings up Fred Ocasio with runners at first and third. Ocasio 0 for 4. Struck out twice. And Kieschnick trying to get out without any more damage, so Texas would have a shot in the bottom of the 9th.
Kieschnick can't overthrow. They can't afford a pass ball now.
Hit off the right side, foul. Well, if you were writing this, you would say Texas would come back in the bottom of the 9th. That's the way it's gone all year. The entire World Series. 2 outs, top of the 9th, runners at first and third for Ocasio out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico.
Sets up outside. Looks like a good time for a tailing fastball back over the plate.
And the Oklahoma State fans and the bench derisively calling balk as Kieschnick stepped off.
It's the new big call here.
The appeal to first. No swing, but boy, that looked like it was in there on the called strike.
I think it didn't have a chance to tail back. It was so hard. That had to be 90-92.
And Kieschnick probably won't even get a chance to pitch in the major leagues, drafted as a hitter by the Cubs. Two and two.
Casio with a good eye the last two pitches. Worked the count to 2-2. These Cowboy hitters cover the plate.
Fly ball right field. Conway is there. And the inning is over. But the Cowboys have taken the lead as we go to the bottom of the ninth. Strike call.
Two great programs in a sudden death situation. Could we have asked for a better game?
No, sir. Each one we've done has been better than the last one. Hit up the middle, speared by Geico. Nice defensive play, and he throws him out. That's one. Geico with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, making his second College World Series appearance in relief. And Tony Vassett will be the pinch hitter for Marcus Hendry, the number 9 man. Vassett is a kid who played all year long at second base, separated his shoulder in the first game of the regionals, and this is his first chance to play in the College World Series. He's a .308 hitter and the number 1 hitter on the club with men on base. Unfortunately for Texas, he comes up with nobody on.
Tough situation for a pinch hitter. Vassett, a good contact hitter. You can't think home run from Tony Vassett, but this game has been unbelievable.
Got the low strike, 1-1. This is the 5th game between teams in this bracket. The previous 4 have been decided by 1 run. 2-1. We would go back to the top of the order after this with Conway, the scheduled hitter. Excuse me, Kenny Tipton. He replaced Conway. Ball's fouled out of play.
We talked about the system of Oklahoma State. Wear down the opposing starter. Jay Vaught threw a very good game for 6 innings for the Longhorns. Then chip away. Then get yourself in a position to win. And that's exactly what they've done.
Three and 2 from Geico to Tony Vassett out of Houston, Texas.
If you're a pitcher, you got to make him hit the ball. You don't want to walk him. Because then the winning run comes to the plate.
Ball 4.
Oh, my.
Holy cow. That looked pretty good.
First of all, I don't know how he didn't swing at it. And second of all, there has to be a high strike somewhere in that zone.
Well, this will bring up Conway, who was replaced in center but moved to right. And Conway is 0 for 4. He was hit by a pitch. His average down to .234 for the season, and does not have a hit in the College World Series. Strike call. If Texas loses this game, they would be eliminated. In 1968, Cliff Gustafson's first year here was the only time a Texas team did not win 2 at least in the College World Series. So history is on their side.
History and being due is on Conway's side.
Strike called. 0-2 from Geico. Steve Heinrich, the second baseman, is the on-deck hitter.
Conway trying to move the umpire. A lot of times when you're a hitter, a ball will be coming out of a background of an umpire being right in the way, and it throws you.
0-2 to Jeff Conway, the sophomore. Defensive swing, chop toward third. Rivera just got it. Bassett moves into second.
Great play by Ernesto Rivera, known for his offense, but makes possibly the biggest defensive play of his career. Comes in, gathers himself, and then whips the ball to first base, just barely getting Conway.
It's all up to Steve Heinrich, the second baseman. 1 for 2 tonight. He's been on base 4 times and is 5 for 11 in the College World Series.
Heinrich's a battler.
Chopped foul off of third. Only has 1 home run this year. The outfield playing him a little deep considering that lack of power, and if you have a base hit, you've got to be in position to try to throw the guy out at the plate.
That's only if it's the winning run. In this situation, you can give up the tying run, but you don't want the winning run to get by you.
Strike 2 called. 0-2 to Heinrich.
But you got to remember, Steve Heinrich was a walk-on. He was 1 hour from never being on this Texas Longhorn team. But he battled. He worked his way to a starting position. He hit over 300.
Strike 3 call. It's over.
There he is. The man that tied the game with a tremendous home run to right. There he is. A man in his system. He stayed within himself. He kept his players focused. And there is no tomorrow for Texas.
The despair for the Longhorns in a terribly emotional game. They lose it 7-6. And this game ran the gamut of emotions with both these ball clubs. Gary Ward lives to fight another day. And the Longhorns will make that long trip back to Austin, made much longer by tonight's loss. The system works. Geico, the winning pitcher out of the bullpen, 3-0. Kieschnick loses it in relief. 16-4. Oklahoma State overcame 5-0 and 6-5 leads. We'll be back to Omaha right now. Let's join Mike Tirico. Mike?
All right, Mike, thank you. Some more Omaha magic in the College World Series. While